Chapter 1143. You've been tricked. Yixian suddenly smiled, his eyes flashing. Dissection eye. 2 dissection rays shot out from Yixian's eyes and hit Luosha's eyes. In an instant, Luosha's eyes were dissected, his vision blurred. Ah! Luosha didn't expect Yixian's eyes to be able to hurt people. He was instantly blinded. Although he could use heaven and earth treasures to repair it, did he have the time? Left Azure Dragon Claws. 6th move of the 8 moves, 6 Dragons Circle. Bam! Luosha was sent flying. A large chunk of flesh was torn off his right shoulder, dripping with blood. Kid, I'm going to kill you. Luosha roared at the sky. He was in the ethereal opening realm, but he was blinded by Yixian and injured his shoulder. His anger soared to the extreme. However, just as he steadied himself, he was surrounded by a black mass of shadows. Lightning Blade Mantis, Poisonous Wasp King, 100-Flower Butterfly, Blue Thread Snake, and Bloodthirsty Mosquito all surrounded him. Although Luosha was in the ethereal opening realm, Yixian and Wei Zhenqian were keeping him busy. Soon his blood was sucked away. At the same time, the poison entered his body and reduced him to nothing in the blink of an eye. Big brother! Seeing Luosha in such a state, Luosha immediately roared and ran toward him. You think you can save him? Yixian's eyes flashed, and he reached out with his left hand again. Left Azure Dragon Claws. 7th move of the 8 moves, Divine Dragon swings its tail. The 7th Golden Heavenly Dragon materialized and whipped its golden tail at Rakshasa. Get lost! Luosha also used a Theurgy, and the 7th Golden Dragon collapsed. However, this 7th Golden Dragon bought Yixian some time. Left Azure Dragon Claws. 8th move of the 8 moves, Leaderless Dragons. This time, 2 Golden Celestial Dragons were formed. A total of 8 Golden Celestial Dragons attacked Luosha. At this moment, Yixian's soul strength was at its peak. After all, it had only been 10 seconds since he defeated Mo Shui. Lolo's Eye of Charm was still in effect. 10,000 Demon Fist, disperse! The Rakshasa roared furiously and threw out a black fist shadow, shattering the 3 golden heavenly dragons. However, he was also surrounded by the remaining 5 golden heavenly dragons. Tear them apart. Yixian immediately gave the order to this group of exotic beasts. Plop! A muffled sound rang out. He turned his head to look and found that the masked assassin Luosha was already dead. His headless corpse fell into the sea of vines. Blood flowed out and flowed down. It was the Lightning Blade Mantis that had cut off the Azura demon's head. This was a type of mantis that was extremely fast. Although it was not a heaven-reaching beast and could only be considered a type of mutated beast, every single one of them had strength comparable to the 9th level of the manifestation realm. Now one of the 2 great Nether Passage realm experts, Luosha, had fallen, and his younger brother Luosha was probably not far from death. Big brother! Seeing that his elder brother was dead, Luosha was so anxious that his eyes turned red. He looked at Yixian and shouted angrily, "Who the hell are you? Does it matter who I am?" Yixian replied coldly, then immediately attacked again. Soon, under the pincer attack of him and the exotic beasts, Luosha was also defeated. His body was covered in wounds. His blood essence was sucked away, and the poison invaded his body. With Yixian and Wei Zhenqian holding him back, Luosha was reduced to a corpse in the end. 2 Nether Passage realm experts had been exhausted to death. Although we lost 2,000 exotic beasts reproduce very quickly. We should be able to replenish them soon. Yixian thought to himself as he narrowed his eyes. If he had to face a Nether Passage realm expert alone, he could fight them with the left Azure Dragon's 8-power stretching claws. However, if he faced 2 Nether Passage realm experts, then he could only use the 10,000 ancestral swords to trap one of them first. Yixian swiftly swept over and put away the 2's universe rings. Although the 2 were here to train, there were still many good things in the universe rings, including more than 100 inner demon pills. Unfortunately, the Thunder Luster City's city lord was killed by Mo Shui. The items in his universe ring were probably taken away by Mo Shui. Inner demon pills. Although they can't directly increase the strength of one's soul after refining, they can purify one's soul, improve one's state of mind, and erase inner demons. Yixian thought to himself as he swallowed everything. Ding! The host has broken through. The host is currently at the 9th level of the manifestation realm. A system notification sounded, and Yixian's aura skyrocketed. He had finally broken through to the 9th level of the manifestation realm. Although I've broken through to the 9th level of the manifestation realm, I haven't reached the peak of the 9th level yet. I wonder if I need a breakthrough item for this breakthrough. Yixian thought to himself as he retracted his attention. Now, he had the ability to kill Emo Shui. As long as Emo Shui dared to appear, he would definitely kill him and complete his revenge mission. However, he was very nervous because Emo Shui was a reincarnator after all. He wouldn't be so easy to kill. Just in case, Yixian mobilized all the exotic beasts and set up an inescapable net at the entrance of the Lost Forest. Killing Emo Shui and completing the revenge mission would give him 3 Devour points. 3 Devour points could increase his strength by a lot. Emo Shui had to die. However, after waiting for a long time, Yixian didn't see Emo Shui's figure. What's going on? Did he predict that I would intercept him on the way? Yixian raised his eyebrows as he suddenly thought of this matter. Emo Shui knew that he had the Eye of the Void, so he might not have left through the Lost Forest. Not good. Yixian's expression changed drastically. He hurriedly broke through the void and returned. He found that there was a suspicious passage under the sea of vines that Emo Shui had created. Damn it, Emo Shui actually escaped. Yixian cursed in his heart. He didn't expect Emo Shui to turn back and leave through the underground. Although the Thousand Tree Sect ruins were protected by a formation, Emo Shui was a reincarnator who had lived for thousands of years in his previous life. How could he be trapped so easily? At this moment, Yixian didn't know how long Emo Shui had left, but for the sake of the revenge mission, he naturally had to chase after him. Wei Zhentian, follow this path and find him. Yixian immediately sent out Wei Zhentian. He only hoped that Emo Shui hadn't gone far. Wei Zhentian instantly turned into a drilling machine and expanded the passage. Yixian followed behind him. Soon they left the Thousand Tree Sect ruins and arrived on land. However, there was no trace of Emo Shui. F*ck, I finally managed to catch him, but he actually escaped. I don't know when the next time we meet, and what realm he is in. Yixian felt helpless in his heart. Chapter 1144. After pondering on the ground for a moment, Yixian returned to the ruins of the Thousand Tree Sect. Although he didn't manage to catch up to Emo Shui, there were still quite a few people in the ruins of the Thousand Tree Sect. As long as he could control them, then Luosha City and Thunder Light City would be his. When he returned to the entrance of the Lost Forest, a person happened to come out of the Lost Forest. This person was the son of Thunder Light City's city lord, Lei Long's father. When Lei Long came out of the Lost Forest, he saw Lei Guang's corpse and immediately rushed over. Yixian also quickly walked over and said, Lei Long, I know who killed your father. Don't worry, I will avenge your father. Hearing this, Lei Long raised his head and fell for Yixian's trick. Ding! Control successful. The system notification sounded. Since Thunder Light City's city lord was dead, Lei Long would be the next city lord. Now that Yixian controlled him, it was equivalent to controlling Thunder Light City. Master, you must avenge my father. Lei Long's eyes glistened with tears. All right. Yixian nodded and immediately set up a group of mutated beasts outside the Lost Forest. He then broke through the void and returned to the entrance of the Thousand Tree Sect's ruins. Next, he would control all the people in the Thousand Tree Sect's ruins. On Thunder Light City's side, there were 15 people who entered the Thousand Tree Sect's ruins. Among them, there was one ethereal realm expert and 5 9th-level manifestation realm experts. Rakshasa City was about the same, but now there was an additional team of assassins called Underworld. After more than an hour, Yixian controlled most of the 9th-level manifestation realm experts. There were exactly 10 of them. As for the remaining 8th-level manifestation realm experts in Rakshasa City, after seeing Rakshasa's corpse, they all submitted to Yixian. This also saved Yixian a lot of trouble for the Eye of Control. In the Thousand Tree Sect's ruins, the most precious thing was the dying heavenly treasure tree. There were no other treasures. However, this time Yixian had profited greatly. He brought everyone out of the underground and asked Lei Long to summon the 9th-level manifestation realm double-headed flying dragon. Ding! Control successful. Yixian also controlled the double-headed flying dragon and had it carry everyone back to Rakshasa City. There were still many good items in Rakshasa City, and there was still a 9th-level manifestation realm expert left in the city lord's estate. This person naturally wouldn't be able to escape from Yixian's evil clutches. Yixian plundered the Luosha City's city lord manor and the 4 great clans. He obtained quite a lot of good stuff, including more than 100 heart devil pills. Lei Long, from now on, you are also the city lord of Luosha City. Luosha City is now under your control. Yixian said to Lei Long. Yes, master. Lei Long said respectfully. Subsequently, Yixian tore through the void and returned to the Lightning Luster City. He also plundered the Lightning Luster City Castellan Mansion and the 3 major families. Then, he reached the peak of the 9th level of the Wanxiang realm. Ding! The host has reached the peak of the manifestation realm. The system prompted. The peak of the manifestation realm was only 1 step away from the ethereal opening realm. At the same time, if Yixian wanted to break through to the ethereal opening realm, he would need to prepare 500 heart devil pills. The heart devil pills from before had already been consumed by him. Now, after plundering Rakshasa City and Lightning Luster City, he only managed to gather 250 pills. He only needed 250 heart devil pills to break through to the ethereal opening realm. At that time, Yixian's strength would at least increase by 3 times. 1 day later, Lei Long had settled all the matters and succeeded as the city lord. At the same time, he also appointed a vice-city lord in Rakshasa City, who was also manager Xia. As for the assassins from the underworld, they were all killed by Yixian. These people were useless. If there weren't enough seats for the Eye of Control in the future, they would be released. At that time, they could threaten Lightning Luster City and Rakshasa City. At this moment, in the Lightning Luster City Lord Manor. Master, do you know who killed my father? Lei Long couldn't help but ask. Although he was already under Yixian's control, Yixian did not restrict his thoughts. The murderer is called Mo Shui. He is a reincarnator. In his previous life, he was at least a rebirth realm elite. That day, after he killed your father, he fought with me. However, I was unable to kill him. As Yixian spoke, he looked at Lei Guang. Don't worry. If I meet him next time, I will definitely avenge your father. Thank you, master. Lei Long's heart trembled as he hurriedly cupped his fists and thanked him. It wasn't that he doubted Yixian's strength, but the murderer's background was too big. A reincarnator. His father's murderer was actually a reincarnator. Then, his father's death was not unjust. The matter of the 1,000 Tree Sects ruins had already ended. Yixian also asked Lei Long and manager Xia to issue a warrant for Mo Shui's arrest. However, Yixian reckoned that it wouldn't have any effect. Hence, he decided to personally search the surroundings and get some demonic pills. Yixian left Thunder Light City and prepared to search for Mo Shui. He couldn't be more familiar with Mo Shui's aura. As long as Mo Shui appeared within his range of perception, he would definitely sense it. At that time, it would be the time of Mo Shui's death. After a day of nurturing by the wood spirit in the planting space, the heavenly treasure tree had grown over 10 meters tall. Furthermore, it was growing at a speed visible to the naked eye every day. Presumably, it would not be long before this heavenly treasure tree would surpass the one in the 1,000 Tree Sect ruins. Luo Luo cultivated inside. Her cultivation progressed 1,000 miles in a day. In just 1 day, she broke through to the 7th level of the Wanxiang realm. Yixian reckoned that Luo Luo could break through to the 9th level of the Wanxiang realm within 3 days. Then, she could break through to the ethereal opening realm. Furthermore, Luo Luo's cultivation speed would surpass his in the future. Yixian began to search around Luosha City. Occasionally, he would kill some monsters and pick some treasures. Although this might be a waste of time, Mo Shui was currently at the 7th level of the Wanxiang realm, 2 levels lower than him. It was the best time to beat him up. If he found Mo Shui, then Mo Shui would definitely die. For the revenge mission's 3 devour points, even if he had to search for half a month, it would be worth it. However, things didn't go as smoothly as he imagined. After Mo Shui left the 1,000 Tree Sect ruins, he disappeared without a trace. No one knew where he was hiding. Yixian searched for 2 full days but to no avail. Looks like I can't find him. Yixian was slightly dejected. In these 2 days, Luo Luo had broken through to the 8th level of the Wanxiang realm. In another 1 or 2 days, she would break through to the 9th level of the Wanxiang realm. Hence, Yixian was thinking, should I find Luo Luo breaking through to the 9th level of the Wanxiang realm? Or should I find Luo Luo breaking through to the ethereal opening realm? Forget it. Anyway, the revenge mission doesn't have a time limit. When I become stronger in the future and surpass Mo Shui, I'll search on a large scale. Yixian made a decision in his heart. Chapter 1145. These 2 auras were actually Nether Passage experts, and they were no weaker than the Thunder Light City Lord and Luosha City Lord. What's going on? Why are there 2 more Nether Passage experts in this area? Yixian raised his eyebrows in confusion. Originally, there were only 2 Nether Passage realm experts in this area. The Luosha City Lord and the Thunder Light City Lord. Luosha's brother Luosha had also come from somewhere else. As for Mo Shui, he had only met Luosha on his way to Luosha City. Now 2 Nether Passage experts had suddenly appeared. This made Yixian feel a little incredulous. However, he did not think too much about it. If he caught these 2 Nether Passage experts, he might be able to obtain a Heart Demon pill. At that time, he would be able to break through to the Nether Passage realm. Very quickly, 2 figures entered Yixian's line of sight. Yixian focused his eyes and discovered that they were a man and a woman. The man and woman were both around 25 years old. They're so young. It seems that they came from a higher place. Yixian's heart trembled. At this time, he suddenly saw that the man and woman were injured. Their faces were pale, and they seemed to be in a hurry. Not only that, but as the 2 approached, Yixian also sensed that their realms were most likely not at the 1st level of the Nether Passage realm, but at the 2nd level. These 2 people's auras were weak because they were injured. Help! Someone wants to kill us. After seeing Yixian, the woman in white hurriedly shouted. If they were not at the end of their rope, she would not have opened her mouth to ask for help. Asking for my help? Yixian silently stood in place, slightly surprised. These 2 people were at the 2nd level of the Nether Passage realm, but they were being pursued. It seemed that the pursuer was stronger than them. No, these 2 people are poisoned. Yixian sensed that something was wrong. While he was still in shock, the 2 of them had already approached him. At the same time, he also saw a figure behind the 2 of them. The 2nd level of the Nether Passage realm. The pursuer was a black-robed man at the 2nd level of the Nether Passage realm. I am a disciple of the Heavenly Thunder Hall Ling Xiao. I was poisoned by a traitor behind my back, and was heavily injured. If you have an antidote, I can pay you handsomely. The young man who was being chased hurriedly shouted. He saw that Yixian was only at the 9th level of the manifestation realm. Even if they worked together, they wouldn't be able to defeat the pursuer behind them. He was indeed poisoned. Yixian pondered for a moment, then took out 2 heavenly treasures from the devouring space and threw them over. This was one of the harvests of the planting space in the past few days. It was an antidote-type heaven and earth treasure that couldn't be bought in this area. Brat, you dare! The black-clothed pursuer shouted angrily. It wasn't easy for him to poison them. If Ling Xiao and the other 2 obtained the clear tea grass, although the poison wouldn't be completely neutralized, it would at least be neutralized by a third. At that time, Ling Xiao and the other 2's battle prowess would increase by 10 to 20%. Ling Xiao's eyes lit up when he saw the 2 stalks of pure white medicinal herbs. He said, "It's the clear tea grass. Thank you, sir." Then he took out a cloth bag from his universe ring and threw it to Yixian. "Sir, here are 100 inner demon pills. Thank you." Ling Xiao didn't stand on ceremony and directly threw it to Yixian. A mere 100 inner demon pills couldn't compare to his life. If he was caught, he would definitely be killed. At that time, what use would it be even if he was rich enough to rival a country? F***ck, 100 inner demon pills? Yixian was shocked. It seemed that these 2 people had a powerful background. They actually gave him 100 inner demon pills in one go. Even if the clear tea grass was very precious, one stalk was only worth 25 inner demon pills at most. Now the price had doubled. However, this was understandable. After all, this was a critical moment. Brat, you're courting death. The black-clothed pursuer was enraged. He directly launched an attack at Yixian. Die my ass. Yixian was also enraged. He directly raised his hand and punched. Blood explosion fist. Bang! The two true chis collided, setting off waves of air that sent smoke and dust spiraling into the air. Ling Xiao and the woman were shocked. They didn't expect Yi Xian, who was only at the 9th level of the manifestation realm, to block the attack of a 2nd-level Nether Passage realm martial artist. It was practically a miracle. Coincidentally, they had already received the clear tea grass. They immediately consumed it and used their true chis to speed up the refinement and detoxify the poison. Brat, I worked so hard to poison you and you actually dared to detoxify it. Today you will definitely die. The black-clothed pursuer was furious. His goal wasn't to kill Ling Xiao and his sister Ling Yun. Now that Yi Xian had given him 2 stalks of clear tea grass, he missed the opportunity. So he transferred his anger to Yi Xian. Die my ass. Yi Xian didn't say anything else. After a burst of light shot out from his eyes, he raised his hand and clawed. Eye of Glory. Left Azure Dragon stretching claws. First move of the 8 powers, seeing dragon in the field. Left Azure Dragon stretches its claws. Second move of the 8 moves, twin dragons play with a pearl. Left Azure Dragon stretches its claws. Third move of the 8 moves, soaring dragon in the sky. Golden dragons bared their fangs and brandished their claws as they pounced at the black-clothed pursuer. By the time the black-clothed pursuer approached, Yi Xian had already condensed 5 golden heavenly dragons. So it's the Nether Passage divine art. You have some skills but you still have to die. The black-clothed pursuer clenched his fist and stabbed fiercely. Whoosh! A sword ray pierced through the air, directly piercing through one of the golden dragons and striking Yi Xian's shoulder. However, Yi Xian didn't care at all, because his wound would quickly heal. Left Azure Dragon stretches its claws. 6th move of the 8 moves, 6 dragons circle. Yi Xian continued to attack. At this moment he only needed 50 inner demon pills to break through to the Nether Passage realm. This black-clothed pursuer was at the 2nd level of the Nether Passage realm. As long as he killed him it should be enough. Brat, you actually dodged the previous attack by luck. This time, I'll definitely pierce through your head. The black-clothed pursuer roared and stabbed again with his sword. Not good. Ling Xiao's expression changed drastically. Yi Xian was their savior. If he died here they would be guilty. Moreover, he saw that Yi Xian's strength was impressive, and he even knew the Nether Passage divine art. If they joined forces, they might be able to kill this black-clothed pursuer. Sister, join forces and kill. Ling Xiao cut to the chase. He clenched his fists and turned to attack. Yes. Hearing this, Ling Yun also turned around without another word. Whoosh! Bang! Ling Xiao defeated the black-clothed pursuer's attack with one punch and saved Yi Xian. How dare you turn around and come back? You're walking into a trap. The black-clothed pursuer's aura surged as he charged forward. Now it was 3 against 1. Although Yi Xian was at the 9th level of the manifestation realm, his true combat strength wasn't any weaker than the black-clothed pursuer's. Coupled with Ling Xiao and Ling Yun, this black-clothed pursuer would definitely die. Left Azure Dragon claws 8 powers, 7th move, Divine Dragon swings its tail. Chapter 1146. You're so annoying. I'll kill you first. The black-clothed pursuer was the most annoying person. He used his superpower to dodge the attack and then rushed toward Yi Xian. Do you think I'm easy to bully? Yi Xian was very displeased. He clenched his right hand into a fist and his left hand into a claw. Blood explosion fist. Left Azure Dragon claws. 8th move leaderless dragons. In an instant, the 7 golden heavenly dragons from before disappeared without a trace. On the other hand, 8 golden heavenly dragons suddenly condensed in front of Yi Xian. 1 more than before. Even if the previous 7 were destroyed, they could be formed again after the 8th move was used. The 8 golden heavenly dragons covered the sky and charged toward the black-clothed pursuer. At the same time, Ling Xiao and Ling Yun, who were injured, were holding the pursuer back. The black-clothed pursuer was in a dilemma. In the end, he decided to retreat first. Bastard, how dare you disturb me and cause my mission to fail? I'll remember you. The black-clothed pursuer roared in his heart. However, when he was about to turn around and leave, a shadow suddenly appeared from the ground and directly entered his thigh. Swish! A muffled sound was heard. It was a long sword that pierced through the black-clothed pursuer's thigh. What? The black-clothed pursuer was shocked. He did not know where the long sword came from. It actually came from the ground. Who was it? Just as he was surprised. Swish! 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 The long sword suddenly changed. Countless spikes grew and pierced the black-clothed pursuer's thigh into a beehive. With his thigh heavily injured, the black-clothed pursuer's speed was greatly reduced. Immediately, the 8 golden heavenly dragons caught up with him. What the hell is this? Get lost. The black-clothed pursuer's face was gloomy. He immediately used the All Creation's force to break all of Wei Zhentian's spikes and pull them out. However, just as he was about to break Wei Zhentian into pieces, Heavenly Thunder Battle Halberd. A Heavenly Thunder Battle Halberd was formed in Ling Xiao's right hand. He then threw it at the black-clothed pursuer. Swish! The Heavenly Thunder Battle Halberd pierced through the air. What? The black-clothed pursuer's face darkened. He had actually witnessed the Heavenly Thunder Hall's ultimate move, the Heavenly Thunder Battle Halberd. This time he was dead for sure. He wanted to dodge, but the Heavenly Thunder Combat Halberd was too fast. It pierced through his chest in the blink of an eye. At the same time, the Heavenly Thunder condensed from the genuine Qi, and the All Creation's force instantly turned his chest into charcoal, along with his heart. Zizi! The black-clothed pursuer was killed in one strike. His body was electrocuted by the Heavenly Thunder Combat Halberd, and then fell to the ground. Yi Xian, who was not far away, was astonished. This move seemed a little overpowered. Fortunately, he had activated the Eye of Revelation. Otherwise, he would have missed it. Ding! The Heavenly Thunder Halberd has been successfully copied. Do you want to learn it? The system prompted. Yes. Yi Xian didn't say anything else and immediately replied. What a joke! The Heavenly Thunder Halberd was a mid-level ethereal channeling divine ability. It was 1 level higher than Zhuo Qinglong's 8 claws reaching out. How could he not learn such an ultimate move? At this moment, Yi Xian finally reacted. When Ling Xiao announced his identity, he said that he was a disciple of the Heavenly Thunder Hall. The Heavenly Thunder Hall was a force that was 10 times stronger than the Thunder Luster City and Rakshasa City. It was comparable to the Thousand Trees sect 1,000 years ago. This Ling Xiao actually knew the Heavenly Thunder Hall's top-level divine ability. It seemed that his position was not low. With the black-clothed pursuer dead, Ling Xiao and Ling Yun heaved a sigh of relief. Thank you for your help. May I know your name? Ling Xiao hurriedly cupped his fists. Yi Xian, it was nothing. Yi Xian replied. Then, he hurriedly rushed over and took the yin and yang ring of the black-clothed pursuer. Although there were not many things in the yin and yang ring of the black-clothed pursuer, there were still 50 inner demon pills. After secretly keeping most of the things, he threw the yin and yang ring to Ling Xiao. This person is an assassin from the underworld. Why did he want to kill you? Yi Xian asked curiously. The divine ability that the black-clothed pursuer used was not much different from that of Rakshasa's brother, Rakshasa. That was why he guessed that the black-clothed pursuer was from the underworld. Of course, the only thing that could confirm his identity was the token in the yin and yang ring of the black-clothed pursuer. The underworld's assassins are all over the world. The 2 of us must have offended someone before, so we were given a mission. Ling Xiao answered after thinking for a moment. However, he lied. He felt that the black-clothed pursuer did not want to kill them. Instead, he wanted to capture them. Moreover, they did not offend anyone, so no one knew who they were. The reason why he lied was because he had only met Yi Xian once. It was better not to expose his identity. I heard you say that you are a disciple of the Heavenly Thunder Hall. However, I heard that only core disciples can learn the Heavenly Thunder Halberd in the Heavenly Thunder Hall, right? Yi Xian asked again. That's right. The 2 of us are from the Heavenly Thunder Hall's Ling family. Ling Xiao nodded. Then he threw the yin and yang ring to Yi Xian, saying, this time it was all thanks to Brother Ye's help. Otherwise, the 2 of us would have been caught very quickly. This yin and yang ring should be yours. There were not many things in the yin and yang ring, because they had all been taken away by Yi Xian. However, for a 9th-level manifestation realm martial practitioner, it was still a considerable amount of income. Then many thanks. Farewell. Yi Xian cupped his fists towards the 2, then prepared to turn and leave. He had already gathered enough inner demon pills. He wanted to immediately find a quiet place to break through to the ethereal opening realm. Although he could immediately break through and control these two core disciples of the Heavenly Thunder Hall, the Heavenly Thunder Hall was not weak. If these two people had some sort of communication method, then he would become a rat crossing the street. Thus, he decided to give up and not make an enemy out of the Heavenly Thunder Hall. "Brother Yi, please wait." Ling Xiao and Ling Yun glanced at each other and shouted. "What?" Yi Xian swiveled his head in puzzlement. Having yet to break through to the ethereal opening realm, Brother Yi is already able to battle experts at the second level of the ethereal opening realm. Therefore I, Ling Xiao, represent the Heavenly Thunder Hall to invite Brother Yi to join us. Ling Xiao said solemnly. "Oh, invite me to join?" Yi Xian was rather taken aback as he asked, "If I join, what benefits would I be able to obtain?" With Brother Ye's talent, as long as you break through to the ethereal opening realm, you will be able to become a core disciple of our Heavenly Thunder Hall and enjoy the benefits. Also, you will have the qualifications to compete for a spot to enter the Heavenly Thunder Forbidden Grounds. Ling Xiao answered. "What is the Heavenly Thunder Forbidden Grounds?" Yi Xian asked once more. Core disciples and whatnot were not really important. Those benefits were not even comparable to what he could obtain from roaming the outside world. Still, this Heavenly Thunder Forbidden Grounds seemed to have some background. Heavenly Thunder Forbidden Grounds. Yi Xian had also encountered this name on the Blood Rock continent. It was Thunder Island in the chaotic astral sea, where the legacy of the Wind Thunder Emperor was. Chapter 1147. Brother Yi, you don't know? Raising his thick brows, Ling Xiao explained. The Forbidden Heavenly Thunder Grounds is a great treasure ground of our Heavenly Thunder Hall. The Heavenly Thunder there can temper the body and soul. Each strike of Heavenly Thunder equivalent to quite a few inner demon pills. The more one withstands, the greater the degree of tempering. You also know that as long as one's soul is strong, one's future cultivation will also be faster. It is precisely for the Forbidden Heavenly Thunder Grounds that we siblings have returned to the Heavenly Thunder Hall, preparing to break through to the third level of the Nether Passage stage. Withstanding the strikes of Heavenly Thunder, then tempering the body and soul? Yi Xian's eyes narrowed, suddenly becoming interested. His method of breaking through was different from others, but it was still effective in tempering the body and soul. The strength of his soul far surpassed that of the average 9th level of the manifestation stage, probably being comparable to first-level Nether Passage experts. If it was tempered in the Forbidden Heavenly Thunder Grounds, it might even be able to rise to the second level of the manifestation stage. Not bad. Good, I'll join. Yi Xian immediately nodded. He had also joined the City Lord Manor of Thunder Light City earlier. It was not like he needed money anyway. If he grew up in the future, he could just leave straight away. Hearing Yi Xian's reply, Ling Xiao and Ling Yun exchanged glances, smiling. This time, not only had they averted danger, they had even managed to recruit a young genius. They had really profited. While the two siblings were about the same age as Yi Xian, also 2 levels higher than Yi Xian, when they had been at the 9th level of the manifestation stage, they had not even been able to beat a first-level Nether Passage expert, let alone an elite second-level Nether Passage expert. If Yi Xian broke through to their level, he would definitely be many times stronger than them. "Welcome. We are a family from now onwards." Ling Xiao grinned, saying, "Let's go back to the Heavenly Thunder Hall. The trial of the Forbidden Heavenly Thunder Grounds is about to begin." Okay. Yi Xian nodded before following them. He was thinking that after becoming a core disciple, he would be able to learn the Heavenly Thunder Halberd. At that time, he would be able to use it legitimately. However, the journey back to the Heavenly Thunder Hall this time was not peaceful. "Yi Xian, the poison within our bodies has yet to be completely purged. Therefore, we wish to find a place to first dispel the poison before returning to the Heavenly Thunder Hall." On the way, Ling Xiao told Yi Xian, "All right, I'll protect you." Yi Xian nodded. The three of them immediately found a mountain and set up an aura-isolating array formation to conceal themselves. Then the two siblings began to detoxify the poison. As for Yi Xian, he could take advantage of this opportunity to break through. Ding! Host has consumed 500 inner demon pills. Ding! The host has broken through to the first level of the Nether Passage realm. Two system notifications rang out as Yixian's aura skyrocketed. Breaking through from the manifestation realm to the nether passage realm didn't increase his physical body by much, but the strength of his soul had doubled. Yixian estimated that his current combat strength was 3 times that of before. Even if Ling Xiao and Ling Yun joined forces, they would not be his match. Now that Mo Shui was in hiding, he could make use of the Heavenly Thunder Hall's influence to place a bounty on Mo Shui. This was another reason why he had gone to the Heavenly Thunder Hall. Half a day later, Ling Xiao and Ling Yun exited seclusion. The poison in their bodies also cleansed. This was all thanks to Yixian. If not for the 2 stalks of clear tea grass that Yixian had given them, they would not have been able to detoxify the poison, and might even have been captured by those black-clothed pursuers. When Ling Xiao exited the cave, he felt that something was wrong as he could not help but let out a puzzled sound. Nether Passage Realm? Ling Yun also felt it as she cried out in shock. In just half a day, Yixian had actually broken through from the manifestation realm to the Nether Passage Realm. He was indeed a genius. I reached the peak of the manifestation realm half a day ago, Yixian explained. So that's how it is. It looks like Yixian getting a slot is a sure thing, Ling Xiao smiled. He and Ling Yun were members of the Heavenly Thunder Hall's Ling family. Thus, they did not need to compete for a slot as they could directly enter the Heavenly Thunder Forbidden Land to be tempered by the Heavenly Thunder. Meanwhile, Yixian was an outsider. Thus, he had to be tested together with the other outsiders. Now that the Ling siblings had successfully detoxified the poison, and Yixian had broken through as well, they could continue on their way. With their speed, they should be able to reach the Heavenly Thunder Hall in around 2 days. However, just as they were about to move, wait! Yixian suddenly sensed something as he hurriedly called out to the 2 of them. What is it? Ling Yun blinked rather strangely. There are 2 experts at the 2nd level of the Nether Passage realm approaching. Yixian replied. What? The Ling siblings were very shocked. They were both at the 2nd level of the Nether Passage realm, while Yixian had only just broken through. If they had not discovered it, how had Yixian discovered it? However, what they did not know was that the range of Yixian's eye of perception was 3 times greater than that of his spiritual sense. Very quickly, the Ling siblings sensed it as well. Clap, clap, clap. Hurried footsteps resounded in front of them as 2 figures entered the vision of Yixian's trio. The newcomers were both men dressed in black. Assassins from the underworld again. Ling Xiao frowned as he muttered to himself. However, his expression was extremely relaxed. Previously, he had been chased and beaten up because he had been poisoned. Now that the poison had been cured and his wounds had healed, how could he be afraid of them? Assassins were skilled in concealment and tracking. They had chased after Yixian's trio based on their footsteps. However, Ling Xiao still could not understand why someone would pay for his life. It's you assassins again. Who exactly is it that is going against my Heavenly Thunder Hall? Ling Xiao could not help but ask. We're not very sure about that either. Since you've encountered me, please allow yourself to be captured. Otherwise, don't blame us for being merciless, said the long-haired man of the 2 assassins. Your mission is to capture us, not kill us? Ling Xiao narrowed his eyes as he asked again. So what if it is? The thin man snorted coldly. When did the underworld have a mission to capture people? How strange. Ling Yun could not help but mutter to herself. The underworld had always issued missions to kill people. Now, however, there was actually a mission to capture people. This was really rare. Could it be that the employer wanted to personally take action? You don't have to worry about this. Anyway, your mission rewards are so high that we are tempted, said the long-haired man coldly as he gripped the long sword in his hand tightly. There were actually 2 types of assassins. One was to wait for an opportunity to assassinate, while the other was to directly take action. These 2 were obviously the 2nd type. These 2 did not think much of the 1st level of the Nether Passage stage Yixian. After all, they could easily kill an existence like Yixian. They focused their attention on Ling Xiao and Ling Yun. These siblings could be considered first-rate geniuses in the Heavenly Thunder Hall. They could not afford to be careless in the slightest. Chapter 1148. Since you want to die, I'll grant you your wish. Ling Xiao roared furiously, charging over bare-handed. Meanwhile, Ling Yun brandished a sword, following closely behind Ling Xiao. As for Yixian, since he had already joined the Heavenly Thunder Hall, he naturally had to help. As his cultivation base was lower than Ling Zhao's group, he stealthily moved to the side, causing them to think that he was trying to escape. The two assassins did not pay much attention to him, as they directly fought one-on-one with Ling Xiao and Ling Yun. Eye of Glory! Left Azure Dragon stretching 8 stances. Now Yixian suddenly attacked. Numerous golden heavenly dragons appeared, lunging towards the long-haired man currently battling Ling Yun. What? The long-haired man was shocked as he turned to discover several golden heavenly dragons attacking him. Only now did he realize that he had underestimated Yixian. Brat, you're a hindrance. Die! The long-haired man stabbed out with his sword. A cold black streak of light piercing through the air, piercing through the golden heavenly dragons before shooting towards Yixian. Watch out! Ling Yun hurriedly roared, but it was still too late. Yixian's shoulder was pierced through once more, but it healed at a visible rate the next moment. You dare injure me? Die! Yixian could not even be bothered to evade now as he roared, finding his 7th golden heavenly dragon. Left Azure Dragon stretching 8 stances, 7th stance, Divine Dragon swings its tail. A massive golden dragon tail whipped towards the long-haired man viciously. The long-haired man's expression darkened as he evaded the attack with his movement technique. However, the next moment, he saw Ling Yun condense a heavenly thunder battle halberd. Not good. The long-haired man's expression changed drastically as he hurriedly retreated. The power of this heavenly thunder battle halberd was not something he could withstand. However, Ling Yun did not throw the heavenly thunder battle halberd in her hand, instead stabbing it into the ground viciously. Zizi! Heavenly thunder shot towards the long-haired man like a slithering snake. Unable to evade in time, his right leg was struck, instantly turning into charcoal. His right leg was crippled. Die! Yixian made use of this opportunity to hurriedly execute the final stance of the left Azure Dragon stretching 8 stances. Leaderless dragons. The 8 golden heavenly dragons all pounced toward the long-haired man. Rip! 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 The long-haired man was surrounded. Then, he was torn apart by the 8 golden heavenly dragons and died. Not good, let's go. On the other side, the thin and weak man who was fighting Ling Xiao immediately turned around and ran when he saw his companion die. It's too late to run now. Ling Xiao used his genuine qi and all creation's strength to form a heavenly thunder halberd. He threw it at the thin man's back. Swish! The heavenly thunder halberd pierced through the air. The thin man turned his head and quickly dodged the heavenly thunder battle halberd. However, when the heavenly thunder battle halberd brushed past the thin man's body, heavenly thunder explosion! Ling Xiao formed a hand seal, and in the next moment, the heavenly thunder combat halberd exploded. Lightning flashed, and with a boom, the thin man was electrocuted into a charred corpse. In the distance, Yixian could not help but gulp. So the heavenly thunder combat halberd can be used like this. I've learned a lot. He thought to himself. At the same time, he also secretly memorized these 2 uses. The heavenly thunder combat halberd was a mid-level ethereal opening mystic ability. To Ling Xiao and Ling Yun, who were both at the 2nd level of the ethereal opening realm, it was extremely taxing. Even at their peak, they could only use it twice. As for Yixian, using it once would probably deplete his genuine qi. Therefore, he could only use it as a trump card. He could not use it like the left Azure Dragon's 8 stances. Ling Xiao and Ling Yun quickly walked over and took off the 2 assassins' yin and yang rings. Brother, look at this. Ling Yun took out 2 portraits of them from the yin and yang ring. At the same time, the 2 assassins' mission books were also in the yin and yang ring. Capture the Heavenly Thunder Hall's core disciples, Ling Xiao and Ling Yun. They must survive. Those who complete the mission will be rewarded with 20,000 inner demon pills. After Ling Xiao read it out loud, his body shook violently. 20,000 inner demon pills. This was really a huge reward. 20,000 inner demon pills could already create a few 3rd-level manifestation realm experts. They were only 2 2nd-level manifestation realm experts. Why was there such a high price? Who exactly wants to capture us? Ling Yun asked, very confused. With such a high price, I'm afraid even 3rd-level nether passage experts would be moved, or even 4th-level nether passage experts. We must return as soon as possible and have father send people to investigate. Ling Xiao said with a gloomy expression. They still could not understand what kind of person they had provoked. However, the most urgent matter at hand was to avoid these underworld assassins and return to the Heavenly Thunder Hall. Yixian did not think too much about it. He only felt that the one who issued the mission should be someone Ling Xiao had once provoked, or an enemy of the Heavenly Thunder Hall. Since Ling Xiao and Ling Yun's mission reward was so high, it might attract third-level Nether Passage experts. At that time he would also be able to get a share of it. However, they had no way of dealing with fourth-level Nether Passage experts. Thus, they could only pray that they did not encounter them. After distributing the rewards, Yixian's trio hurried on their way once more. Now they dared not run wildly on the ground, instead flying high up in the air. This way they could avoid quite a few assassins. The following journey was out of their expectations. Who knew if it was because of their good luck, or if the assassins had all run off to search elsewhere? But the journey was calm and peaceful. No one came looking for them again, and they successfully returned to the Heavenly Thunder Hall. The Heavenly Thunder Hall was a massive, solemn and dignified palace, with countless experts within. Before Yixian had even approached, he could already feel several powerful auras, at least third level of the manifestation stage or even fourth level. Ling Xiao and Ling Yun directly brought Yixian into the Heavenly Thunder Hall, explaining some matters of the Heavenly Thunder Hall to Yixian as they did so. The Heavenly Thunder Hall was dominated by the Ling family, with all the previous Hall Lords also being members of the Ling family. However, due to their 1,000 years of heritage, the Ling family had quite a few members. Just the Nether Passage experts of the Ling family numbered in the thousands. Amongst them, the most powerful of the younger generation was called Ling Su. She was a girl, a year older than Ling Xiao, but had already broken through to the fourth level of the Nether Passage stage, being the #1 female genius in the history of the Heavenly Thunder Hall. Of course, it was only after undergoing the tempering of the Heavenly Thunder of the Heavenly Thunder Forbidden Land that she had achieved this. It was said that after leaving, she had broken through from the second level of the Nether Passage stage all the way to the fourth level of the Nether Passage stage in a short amount of time. The optimal age for entering the Heavenly Thunder Forbidden Land was 25. Ling Xiao and Ling Yun just so happened to be 25, while Yixian just so happened to be 25 as well. This time Ling Xiao had brought Yixian to look for his father Ling Xiong, to have Yixian become a core disciple of the Heavenly Thunder Hall, and then participate in the competition for a spot in the Heavenly Thunder Forbidden Land. Ling Xiao's father Ling Xiong was an elder of the Heavenly Thunder Hall at the fourth level of the Nether Passage stage. Chapter 1149. Oh Xiaoer, you've returned. The Black Chaotic Corner is quite a distance away from here. I had thought that you wouldn't be able to make it to the Heavenly Thunder Forbidden Grounds this time. Ling Xiong was currently handling some documents as he said curiously upon seeing Ling Xiao and Ling Yun. Greetings, father. Ling Xiao and Ling Yun greeted in unison. This is. At this time Ling Xiong's gaze fell on Yixian behind Ling Xiao. Father, on our way back from the Black Chaotic Corner, we were ambushed by assassins of the underworld. Fortunately, Yixian came to our aid. Otherwise we siblings might very well have been captured. Ling Xiao began to narrate the events of the past. The assassins of the underworld only capture people, and not kill them? Ling Xiao's body shook as he abruptly stood up. I find it very strange as well. We siblings have not offended anyone. Why would they target us? Ling Xiao asked curiously. All right, I will send people to investigate this matter. Ling Xiong nodded before continuing. With little brother Yixian's talent, he is indeed qualified to enter my Heavenly Thunder Hall as a core disciple. However, there are quite a few powerful disciples in this time slot competition, and there are only 10 slots. Wanting to obtain one won't be so easy. Ling Xiao understood Ling Xiong's meaning. The latter had underestimated Yixian a little. He hurriedly explained, Father, Yixian's strength is probably not below mine. Oh. Hearing this, Ling Xiong was rather surprised, not daring to believe it. Yixian was only at the first level of the Nether Passage stage, while there were 3,000 core disciples in the Heavenly Thunder Hall. This meant that they were all at the first level of the Nether Passage stage. However, the number of core disciples who could challenge those at a higher level was probably less than 100. If that is the case, we can fight for it. Little brother Yi, come with me. Saying this, Ling Xiong brought Yixian along as well. As the latter had saved Ling Xiao, he easily entered the Heavenly Thunder Hall, becoming a core disciple. Very quickly, Yixian successfully entered the Heavenly Thunder Hall, becoming a core disciple. After that, Ling Xiong brought Yixian to the registration point for the Heavenly Thunder Forbidden Lands entry battle that would be held 3 days later. Yixian glanced at the name list. This time, the Ling clan's disciples didn't need to compete for the Heavenly Thunder Forbidden Lands spots and could directly enter. However, those subordinate powers of the Heavenly Thunder Hall, as well as the other disciples of the Heavenly Thunder Hall, would have to undergo a trial before being able to obtain a slot. There were only 10 spots for this year's competition, and the people who participated in the competition for the spots added up to more than 100 people. These hundreds of people were all around 25 years old and were at least in the Nether Passage realm. It was even said that some of them had already reached the 3rd level of the Nether Passage realm. With my current strength, it shouldn't be a problem for me to get a slot, Yixian thought to himself. He was not worried about his own slot, instead wondering if he should let Luoluo join the Heavenly Thunder Hall as well. Within 3 days, Luoluo would also be able to break through into the ethereal opening stage. It had to be known that she was a 15-year-old ethereal opening stage martial artist, being even more formidable than that legendary figure in the history of the Heavenly Thunder Hall. In the history of the Heavenly Thunder Hall, the person who had broken through into the ethereal opening stage at the age of 18 had been the #1 genius. Forget it. Luoluo is cultivating in the planting space, so there's no need for her to join. When I enter the Heavenly Thunder Forbidden Land, I'll summon her out as well, Yixian planned in his heart. Luoluo's talent was really too heaven-defying. Having reached the ethereal opening stage at the age of 15, she could even attempt to break through into the fulfillment realm in the future. The reason why Yixian had dismissed this idea was because that #1 genius in the history of the Heavenly Thunder Hall had been strangled in the cradle by someone. After registering, Ling Xiao arranged a place for Yixian to stay before bringing Yixian to stroll around the Heavenly Thunder Hall. Ling Xiao, do I have the qualifications to learn the Heavenly Thunder Battle Halberd now? Yixian suddenly asked. Hearing his words, Ling Xiao nodded. You do. All core disciples can learn our Heavenly Thunder Hall's supreme technique, the Heavenly Thunder Battle Halberd. All of them? Yixian raised his brows. He had heard that the Heavenly Thunder Hall had a total of 3,000 core disciples and 100,000 ordinary disciples. With 3,000 people able to learn the Heavenly Thunder Battle Halberd, was the Heavenly Thunder Hall not afraid that the Heavenly Thunder Battle Halberd would spread? Still, very quickly, he knew that the mid-grade ethereal opening ability, the Heavenly Thunder Battle Halberd, could not be spread, because the Heavenly Thunder Battle Halberd was a heaven-connecting artifact. That ability could only be learnt through comprehending the Heavenly Thunder Battle Halberd. Gazing at that Heavenly Thunder Battle Halberd before him, as well as the 100 Heavenly Thunder Hall disciples surrounding it, Yixian suddenly recalled the Dao Heart Devil Seed technique. Wasn't the Dao Heart Devil Seed technique also learnt through comprehending the statue of the Devil God? Yixian, that is the weapon used by our Heavenly Thunder Hall's founder, our Ling family's ancestor, the Heavenly Thunder Battle Halberd. Ling Xiao introduced. This Heavenly Thunder Battle Halberd is a little damaged, Yixian unconsciously said. That's right. When the founder obtained this Heavenly Thunder Battle Halberd, it was already damaged. The founder said that if it could be repaired, the Heavenly Thunder Battle Halberd could become a 3rd-grade heaven-connecting artifact. It was with this that the founder created the Heavenly Thunder Battle Halberd. Ling Xiao nodded. While the Heavenly Thunder Battle Halberd was only a mid-grade ethereal opening ability, it was extremely close to a high-grade ethereal opening ability. Even if a first-level ethereal opening martial practitioner learnt it, some might not even be able to use it. Yixian, you go and try it out first. There are still 3 days before the entry battle anyway. Even if you can't comprehend it, if you grasp a sliver of the power of Heavenly Thunder, it would still be helpful to your strength. My brother and I had to learn for a whole 3 months before we learnt the Heavenly Thunder Battle Halberd. Before going to Black Chaotic Corner for tempering, Ling Yun smiled as she said from the side. Alright, I'll give it a try then. Yixian nodded. Actually, he did not need to learn the Heavenly Thunder Battle Halberd because he had already copied it down and learnt it. Now he was just putting on an act here. This way, he could legitimately use the Heavenly Thunder battle halberd. Afterwards, Ling Xiao and Ling Yun left, leaving Yi Xian to comprehend it alone here. Yi Xian extended his senses, discovering that there were still third-level ethereal opening experts here. These should be Heavenly Thunder Hall disciples with higher cultivation bases, but lower comprehension abilities. At the same time, a white-haired old man was seated in the meditative position in a corner of this palace. This white-haired old man was the guardian of the Heavenly Thunder battle halberd, possessing incomparable strength. Yi Xian sat here, carefully comprehending it for 3 days. In these 3 days, Luo Luo successfully broke through to the ethereal opening stage. At the same time, the heavenly connecting treasure tree within the planting space had also grown by several hundred meters, the chi of heaven and earth having more than doubled. At the same time, many natural treasures had been born within the planting space, all of which had been devoured by Yi Xian, increasing his cultivation base. However, today was the day of the entry battle for the Heavenly Thunder Forbidden Grounds, so Yi Xian had to leave. Chapter 1150. Yi Xian, you've come at the right time. The competition for the slots is about to begin. When Yi Xian left the halberd palace, Ling Xiao just so happened to be walking towards him. I'm already prepared. Yi Xian nodded. There were only 3 people at the 3rd level of the Nether Passage stage, while there were 10 slots. Thus his chances were very high. These 3 days I've been investigating for you. Of the 3 participants at the 3rd level of the Nether Passage realm, one is Su Liang from the Su family, one is Gu Han from the Gu family, and the last is Jiao Chong from the Blackwater Lightning Devouring. I feel that only these 3 would be a threat to you, said Ling Xiao. Profound Water Thunder Devouring? Yi Xian raised his brows, saying, What is that? Demon race? That's right. My Heavenly Thunder Hall also has a demon race force under its command. They want to use the Heavenly Thunder Forbidden Land before transforming into dragons, nodded Ling Xiao. The demon race did not only exist in the eastern continent of the Blood Rock continent. There were quite a few of them in the sacred grounds as well. Profound Water Thunder Wyrm. Using the Heavenly Thunder Forbidden Land to transform into dragons? Yi Xian was slightly surprised as he asked. The lifespan of this demon race is longer than that of humans, and they can participate together with humans? The demon race is indeed older than us. 100 years of this Profound Water Thunder Wyrm clan is only equivalent to 25 years of our human age. However, they are indeed a problem for us. With their long lifespans, they might threaten our Heavenly Thunder Hall in the future. Ling Xiao could not help but sigh emotionally. Brother, Ling Yun hurriedly reminded him in a small voice. Oh, I forgot. Ling Xiao's neck shrunk as he unconsciously scanned the surroundings. What he meant earlier was to expel the Profound Water Thunder Wyrm clan from the Heavenly Thunder Hall, lest they become the masters of the Heavenly Thunder Hall in the future. Fortunately, no one had heard it, apart from Yi Xian. Let's go, let's go. The competition for the slots is about to begin. Saying thus, Ling Xiao brought Yi Xian towards the Heavenly Thunder Hall's assessment arena. The competition for the 10 spots in the Forbidden Land of Heavenly Thunder was about to begin. There were more than 100 participants, all of whom were at least in the ethereal opening realm. There were a total of 50 people at the 1st level of Nether Passage realm like Yi Xian. Some of them weren't here for a spot, but to find an opponent to battle and increase their strength. Yi Xian naturally did not care about these people. Of course, he didn't care about the rest of the 2nd level Nether Passage realm martial artists. No matter how strong they were, they couldn't possibly be stronger than him, right? However, he only hoped that he wouldn't run into those 3 geniuses at the 3rd level of the Nether Passage realm. This wasn't because he was afraid, but because he didn't want to use his trump card. Very quickly, Ling Xiao brought Yi Xian to the assessment arena. Thousands upon thousands of people had already gathered here, with some of them being disciples of the Heavenly Thunder Hall, as well as those subordinate powers of the Heavenly Thunder Hall. When Ling Xiao's father Ling Xiong saw Yi Xian, he also said, Yi Xian, you're number 7, number 15. This time, there were a total of 150 people participating in the Heavenly Thunder Forbidden Lands entry competition. It was just right, so they were divided into 10 groups, each group having 15 people. Still, they still had to be tested before entering battle. The strength of both their physique and soul had to reach the required level. Otherwise, if they entered the Heavenly Thunder Forbidden Land and were unable to withstand even a single bolt of heavenly thunder, That would have been a waste of their entry slot, possibly even being struck to death by a single bolt of heavenly thunder. Wanting to enter the heavenly thunder forbidden land, one's physique and soul must reach the level of 6 stars. Only then can one advance to the next round. Ling Xiao explained from the side. My sister and I have already been tested. Both of us are at 8 stars while my sister's physique is a bit weaker, only at 7.5 stars. So that's how it is. I wonder what mine is. Yi Xian was rather curious. The strength of his soul far surpassed that of most first-level Nether Passage Realm martial artists, perhaps even comparable to second-level Nether Passage Realm martial artists. As for his physique, due to its uniqueness, having devoured so many heavenly treasures, it was also extremely powerful. While he had yet to test it, he estimated that it should be about the same as Ling Xiao's. Of course, the main reason why he was able to challenge those above his level was because of those bloodlines. At this time, a team entered the test arena, and it attracted everyone's attention. Is this the Profound Water Thunder WYRM clan that joined our Heavenly Thunder Hall a few years ago? They look so powerful. Profound Water Thunder WYRMs are of the demon race. Any random one of them would be older than our grandfather. Them also participating, this is a little unfair. Also, Profound Water Thunder WRMs are resistant to thunder in the first place. Compared to us, they can withstand even more heavenly thunder, their degree of refinement being higher than ours. The heavenly thunder forbidden land feels like it was formed specifically for them. I heard that this time, the Profound Water Thunder WIRM clan used a large amount of heavenly treasures to produce a genius called Jiao Chong. I wonder if he will be able to successfully transform into a dragon under the bombardment of heavenly thunder. After this team entered, the surrounding Heavenly Thunder Hall disciples also began whispering amongst themselves. The Profound Water Thunder WIRM was the strongest of all the subordinate powers of the Heavenly Thunder Hall, only inferior to the Ling family. The reason they had joined the Heavenly Thunder Hall was also because of the Heavenly Thunder Forbidden Land. That's Jiao Chong. Ling Yun suddenly pointed over stealthily. At the center of this team of Profound Water Thunder WRMs was a fair-faced young man. This person looked extremely young, but his true age was already over 100 years old. Third level of the Nether Passage realm. If he reverts to his original form, his battle prowess will be even greater. Yi Xian also thought to himself. The demon race here was different from the demon race of the Blood Rock continent. They were not cursed, so there would not be any harm in reverting to their original form, being able to revert to their original form as they wished. Yi Xian estimated that this Jiao Chong's strength was ranked first amongst all the competitors. Even he would find it very hard to defeat him, unless he joined forces with Luoluo. Within this team there were also 4 Profound Water Thunder WRM youths, all at the second level of the Nether Passage realm. Their battle prowess was probably also amongst the best. This time, the Profound Water Thunder WIRM actually has 5 youths participating. If nothing unexpected happens, they will obtain 5 spots. In a certain corner of the test arena, a middle-aged man said with a frown. 5 is too many. Give them 3 spots. The white-haired old man beside him stroked his beard as he said. Father, you mean? The middle-aged man suddenly turned his head. The Su family's Su Liang and the Gu family's Gu Han are both already at the 3rd level of the Nether Passage realm. Arrange them together with the 2 from the Jiao family. The white-haired old man continued. Father, this will incur the displeasure of the Jiao family, the middle-aged man reminded. This Profound Water Thunder WRM clan is too domineering. In a few more decades they might catch up to our Ling family. We must suppress them. Even if they guess it, so what? Since they are subordinate to our Heavenly Thunder Hall, we will make the decisions. The white-haired old man said with a resolute and decisive look. Yes, then I will go now. Not daring to disobey, the middle-aged man hurriedly left. Chapter 1151. A middle-aged elder of the Heavenly Thunder Hall leapt onto that massive ring at the center before taking out a massive stone tablet from his spatial ring, saying, "The physique trial begins. Team 1, all of you come up onto the ring." Next, 15 people leapt up from below, one of them being a youth from the Profound Water Thunder WRM. You are not allowed to use true chi or the power of all manifestations to attack the stone tablet. Number 1, begin the trial, said the middle-aged elder. Number 1 of Team 1's luck was not bad, being able to obtain first place. However, this did not mean that his results were also first. This was a muscular man, a disciple of the Heavenly Thunder Hall. His skin was dark, his entire body looking muscular and powerful. He roared loudly, sprinting madly towards the stone tablet before viciously punching out with a fist. Pung! A muffled sound rang out as this person's fist entered the stone tablet. Exactly 3 inches 6 stars. The middle-aged elder swept his gaze over before recording the results. 3 inches was 10 centimeters. Every nether passage expert had the power to split mountains and split the earth. Even without using true chi or the power of all manifestations, they could still blast through a mountain with the force of their fists. However, this stone tablet was not simple at all. It was cold steel, a material used to forge grade 2 heavenly connection artifacts. Being able to leave a 3-inch fist mark on it, this muscular man could already be considered an elite amongst the first level of the nether passage stage. Next was number 2 of Team 1's trial. 2. 9 inches not qualified. The middle-aged elder shook his head. 3 inches was the standard for 6 stars. While 9 inches was a little short, they would not bend the rules as they could only wait for the next trial. Number 2 of Team 1 shook his head helplessly, silently blaming himself for being too lax earlier. If he had bitterly cultivated for a bit, he would definitely have been able to pass. As the trial continued, the surrounding people also watched rather impatiently. They wanted to see the strength of that Jiao family expert. Very quickly, it was finally that profound water thunder Devouring youth's turn. It's here, it's finally his turn. While he's only at the 2nd level of the nether passage stage, unable to compare to Jiao Chong, he should at least be able to reach 8 stars, right? I remember that in the history of our Heavenly Thunder Hall, the most monstrous genius had punched 9 stars at the 2nd level of the nether passage stage. The surrounding Heavenly Thunder Hall disciples began discussing softly. Not just that, even Yixian opened his eyes wide. He wanted to see just how powerful this profound water thunder Devouring was. Number 10 begin the test. The middle-aged elder was also curious. Yes, the young man called Jiao Heng nodded. Soon after, he gathered all the strength in his body and punched forward. Bang! His fist sank into the frost steel. 4 inches 8 stars. The middle-aged elder's eyes lit up as he announced. Hua! The crowd burst into an uproar. What shocked them was not the 8 stars, but that Jiao Heng was currently in human form. If he could use the Blackwater Lightning Flood Dragon, his punch would be at least 8.5 stars or even 9 stars, right? The Blackwater Lightning Flood Dragon was indeed powerful. The Darkwater Lightning Flood Dragon clan is indeed a hidden danger. Many elders of the Heavenly Thunder Hall thought to themselves. Having only joined the Heavenly Thunder Hall for a few short years, the Profound Water Thunder WIRM clan had already become the number 1 clan below the Ling family. They had no choice but to guard against them. Jiao Heng was extremely pleased with himself after obtaining an 8-star evaluation. He raised his nose and looked around before walking off the stage. Very soon the results of the first group were all recorded. Those who had reached 6 stars were qualified to participate in the 2nd round of the test. Yixian did not pay much attention to the following tests as he just glanced over slightly. Those at the 2nd level of the nether passage stage were all able to obtain 7 stars at the very least. The stronger ones could even achieve 7.5 stars or even 8 stars, though not a single one managed to do so. Finally, it was time for the 3rd group. That's the Gu family's Gu Han. He has already broken through to the 3rd level of the nether passage stage. I wonder how many stars he can obtain. At least 8.5 stars or 9 stars. Anyway, it'll be fine as long as it's not lower than the Blackwater Lightning Flood Dragon. The disciples of the Heavenly Thunder Hall quietly discussed amongst themselves again. While the number 1 genius in the history of the Heavenly Thunder Hall had achieved 9 stars at the 2nd level of the nether passage stage, he had only been 20 at the time. The most suitable age for entering the Heavenly Thunder Forbidden Land was 25. This monster had naturally not entered, only having come to test it out. Sadly, not long after the test had ended, he had suffered a vicious blow in the midst of training, thus falling. That Gu Han walked before the frost steel, then punched out viciously. 4 inches and 7 stars 9 stars. The middle-aged elder nodded satisfactorily, announcing, "Impressive indeed. Just a little bit more and he would have been able to reach 9.5 stars. What a pity. This is only a physique test. It's also not like there are any rewards. Who knows, Guhan might still have been holding back." That's true. Guhan completed his test, then walked off the ring. Below, Yixian narrowed his eyes as he looked at the screen, discovering that Guhan had been holding back just now. Otherwise, 9.5 stars would have been no problem at all. The test continued. In the fourth group, there was also a disciple of the Blackwater Thunder Flood Dragon clan. Also at the second level of the Nether Passage stage, he had obtained an 8-star evaluation. I estimate that the other 4 members of the Blackwater Thunder Flood Dragon clan will all be able to obtain an 8-star evaluation. After Ling Xiao finished speaking softly, he turned to look at Yixian, saying, "Yixian, how many stars do you have confidence in obtaining?" 7 stars at the very least. Yixian replied. However, he was being modest. He felt that if he punched out with his full power, he would at least obtain an 8-star evaluation. If he used the Beast King's Rampage, 9 stars would be no problem at all. However, there were no rewards for this test, so there was no need for him to reveal his true strength. Using the Beast King's Rampage required a large number of corpses, and it would only increase his strength after using it. For someone like him who possessed the strength of all mammoths, the Beast King's Rampage was eliminated. Thus, there was no need for him to collect the corpses of heaven-reaching beasts, nor was there a need for him to use it. That's right. You just broke through to the Nether Passage stage. If you cultivate for a while longer, 7.5 stars won't be a problem. Ling Xiao didn't think much of it. He just nodded and continued to watch the test. Next was the Su family's Su Liang. He also obtained a 9-star evaluation, the same as Guhan. Finally, it was the turn of Group 7's Yixian. Under the middle-aged Elder Zhang's command, the 15 people of Group 7 all jumped onto the ring. There was another disciple of the Blackwater Thunder Flood Dragon clan in the same group as Yixian, and he just happened to be in front of Yixian. Of the first 13 people, some passed the test while others failed. Soon it was the Blackwater Thunder Flood Dragon youth in front of Yixian. Ha! This youth from the Blackwater Thunder Flood Dragon clan struck the Frost Steel Stone tablet with all his strength. 4 inches 3 8.5 stars. The middle-aged elder announced with some astonishment. 8.5 stars. This was the highest score amongst those at the second level of the Nether Passage stage, second only to Guhan and Su Liang. Too frightening. He actually managed to hit 8.5 stars, second only to our Heavenly Thunder Hall's #1 genius. If this Jiao Lai reverted to his original form, he would at least reach 9 stars, right? This Jiao Lai is of the demon race and has lived for 100 years. How can he compare to that genius of our Heavenly Thunder Hall? That's right. While the demon race has a long lifespan, cultivation is difficult and requires time to settle down. Moreover, their reproductive abilities are poor. We humans are blessed by the heavens, and our cultivation speed is much faster than theirs. Chapter 1152. The test is over. Get out of the way. The middle-aged elder chased him away. What's with the arrogance? If I become a dragon, I'll definitely trample all the geniuses of your Ling clan. Jiao Lai said unhappily and retreated. Now it was Yixian's turn. Because he was only at the first level of the ethereal opening realm, not many people paid attention to him. Everyone was talking among themselves. There's no reward for this test. I'll just give him 6 stars. Yixian didn't want to be too ostentatious, so he directly threw a punch. However, he regretted it when his fist entered the Frost Steel Stone tablet. Not good. Yixian's expression changed greatly. Because he wanted to hide his strength, he held back. This punch actually didn't hit 3 inches, it was only 2. 8 inches. 3 inches was the standard for 6 stars. If one didn't reach 6 stars, they would be eliminated. 2. 8 inches, Tao. The middle-aged elder felt it and said. However, before he could finish, Yixian suddenly attacked. What are you doing? The elder was furious. Everyone was only tested once, but Yixian dared to throw 2 punches. Was he ignoring him? Pung! Another punch appeared, and the crowd suddenly fell silent. This brat is in trouble. He actually ignored the rules. Does he think he can pass with one more punch? Elder Ling Chong is very old-fashioned. This brat ignored the rules. Even if he's a core disciple, he can't avoid a scolding. Sigh, I pity him. Some of the surrounding disciples revealed sympathetic expressions, while others revealed gloating expressions, as if they were waiting to watch a good show. Below the stage, Ling Xiao and Ling Yan's expressions changed greatly. They prepared to jump onto the stage. Trash will always be trash. Does he think he can get rid of trash by testing again? Zhao Lai had a disdainful expression as he muttered to himself. However, when he swept his gaze over the second fist imprint that Yixian had struck out, his expression instantly became unsightly. What? 4. 3 inches? 8.5 stars. Elder Ling Chong also noticed and raised his eyebrows. What the hell was going on? Yixian's first punch was 2.8 inches, which didn't even reach 6 stars. However, his second punch had actually reached 4.3 inches, reaching 8.5 stars. Elder, I'm sorry. My first punch was wrong. Yixian smiled guiltily. This? Elder Ling Chong froze. Was it possible for someone at the first level of the Nether Passage realm to get an 8.5 star evaluation? It must be known that the first person in the history of the Heavenly Thunder Hall to have achieved a 9-star evaluation at the ethereal opening stage. However, Yixian had actually set another record. Just now, Yixian had made a mistake and hurriedly followed up with a punch. Although he did not use Beast King Rampage for the second punch, he did use his full strength. 8.5 stars, exactly the same as Zhao Lai from the previous test. However, Zhao Lai was a level higher than Yixian. He was at the second level of the Nether Passage realm. How is that possible? He must have cheated. Zhao Lai immediately felt that something was wrong. He immediately jumped out and pointed at Yixian's nose and shouted. He was a Blackwater Thunder Jiao, a demon. Demons were proficient in refining their bodies. While they had not returned to their true forms, they were still stronger than ordinary humans. After all, he had lived for 100 years. However, now Yixian, a human of around 25 years of age, whose cultivation was even lower than his, had actually given him the same evaluation. This was impossible. Not only did he not believe it, even the surrounding Heavenly Thunder Hall disciples were the same. Elder Ling Chong raised his brows, also rather doubtful as he said to Yixian, "Try punching again?" "Yes." Yixian wiped away his cold sweat, then punched viciously towards the frost steel stone tablet once more. 4 inches, 8-star evaluation. The middle-aged elder frowned. This time Yixian's score actually fell. "My apologies, elder. I have only just broken through to the Nether Passage stage and have yet to get used to my strength. Thus, I accidentally used my true qi," Yixian hurriedly explained. With his reminder, the surrounding people also widened their eyes in realization. True qi, it must have been true qi. So that's how it is. Ling Chong nodded slightly. That earlier scene had been too sudden. Perhaps he had sensed wrongly, not sensing that Yixian had used his true qi. That was why he had given him an 8.5-star evaluation. However, this time, he had clearly sensed that Yixian had not used his true qi. Thus, this 4-star evaluation was valid. Like I said, how could he possibly surpass me? Beside him, Zhao Lai snorted coldly. Elder Ling Chong glanced at him saying, "All right, you tested it one more time. Originally, it would not have counted, but seeing that your results are not bad, this matter will be dropped." Even a Ling family disciple at the first level of the Nether Passage stage would only be 7.5 stars at most. For Yixian to actually be able to achieve 8 stars, this was still a new record. "Many thanks, elder." Yixian cupped his fists in gratitude, heaving a sigh of relief inwardly before walking off the stage. "Yixian, you really are something, actually the same as me." Seeing Yixian come down, Ling Xiao could not help but remark. As a Ling family disciple at the second level of the Nether Passage stage, he was only given an 8-star evaluation. Meanwhile, Yixian had only just entered the Heavenly Thunder Hall as a core disciple, and was only at the first level of the Nether Passage stage. Yet, he had been given an 8-star evaluation much more impressive than him. However, at this moment in a corner of the assessment arena, "Father, what's wrong?" that middle-aged man asked, puzzled. "Do you recognize that kid?" the white-haired old man asked. "He doesn't seem to be a disciple of our Ling family, But he seems to be friends with Ling Xiao. The middle-aged man shot him a glance, then shook his head. Based on my spiritual sense, I can see that he did not use his true qi just now. That 4 inches 3 is real, the white-haired old man murmured. What real? The middle-aged man was very surprised. A first-level nether passage expert with an 8.5-star evaluation, there was not a single person in the entire Ling family who could do so. He probably doesn't want to provoke the Black Water Thunder Devouring clan, thus concealing his strength. This kid is a talent that can be molded. Go investigate his background. If he is clean, we can nurture him. The white-haired old man instructed. Yes. Oh. The assessment continued. Originally, everyone had thought that another monster had appeared in the Heavenly Thunder Hall. Not having thought that he had just accidentally used his true qi, they did not take it to heart. Achieving 8 stars in the physique assessment was nothing much. After all, it was just a test. The third round was actual combat. With Yi Xian's cultivation at the first level of the Nether Passage stage, he probably would not be able to enter the top 30. The 4 from the Black Water Thunder WRM clan had all completed their assessments, of which Zhao Lai had an 8.5-star evaluation, while the other 3 were all 8 stars. As for that Zhao Chong at the 3rd level of the Nether Passage stage, he was in the 10th group, the last group. Finally, the physique assessment was nearing its end. That Black Water Thunder WIRM clan's Zhao Chong also finally ascended the arena. Everyone opened their eyes wide, wanting to see exactly how capable this number 1 genius of the Black Water Thunder WRM clan's younger generation was. How many stars could a 3rd level of the Nether Passage stage achieve? Very quickly it was Zhao Chong's turn. Begin the assessment. Chapter 1153. Let's begin the test. Elder Ling Chong also focused his attention to see how capable this Zhao Chong was, and whether he was hiding his true strength. After all, he was a member of the Ling family, and the Black Water Thunder Flood Dragon clan was about to threaten the Ling family. Thus, he wanted to see if the number 1 genius of the Black Water Thunder Flood Dragon clan surpassed the number 1 genius of the Ling family, or was he slightly inferior? This Zhao Chong didn't say anything else, and directly punched out. Pung! A fist imprint was left on the frost steel stone tablet. 4 inches, 9.5 stars evaluation. A light flashed through Elder Ling Chong's eyes. Just a bit more and it would be 10 stars. This was indeed a bit different from the number 1 genius of the Ling family. After all, the number 1 genius of the Ling family, Ling Zhantian, had scored 5.1 inches when he was at the 3rd level of the Nether Passage realm, surpassing 10 stars. But don't forget, Zhao Chong was only in his human form, and hadn't returned to his original form. This Black Water Thunder Flood Dragon clan is indeed a big threat. The surrounding Ling family experts' eyes all flashed as they thought to themselves. The group of Black Water Lightning Flood Dragon clan experts below also sighed in their hearts. This brat has already lived for 100 years, and still doesn't know how to endure. If we become a thorn in the side of the Ling family, we will definitely be the first to be eliminated or suppressed. The leading demon race expert was very annoyed, but this Zhao Chong was the son of the Black Water Thunder Flood Dragon clan's head, and he didn't dare to reprimand him. Good, let the test continue. Elder Ling Chong shouted. Soon the physique test was over. Of the 150 people, only 70 passed. Next was the soul strength test. This soul strength test was rather simple, and could be completed in one go. Everyone jumped onto the stage and then stood in a circle. Even those who didn't pass the physique test could. After all, it was only a test. Of course, the actual combat test required both physique and soul strength to pass. Then Ling Chong took out a large golden bell from his yin and yang ring. This is our Heavenly Thunder Hall's soul toll bell? Definitely not. This is only a replica. Even if it is a replica, it is still a very powerful artifact. It is said that it can directly attack one's soul. The soul strength test requires one to withstand 12 rings. Some of the surrounding disciples recognized the golden bell. At this time, Elder Ling Chong said, "Everyone stand properly. Next will be the soul strength test. I will ring the bell every 3 breaths, and every time you survive 1 ring, you will gain half a star. Only those who can survive 12 rings will pass the test. In addition, you are not allowed to use true qi or wanxiang force to resist this test." The surrounding testers nodded, indicating that they understood. Yixian blended into the crowd and stood quietly. He did not know how long his soul could last. All right, let the test begin. Elder Lingchong looked around and then smashed his fist on the soul chime bell. Buzz! The sound of a bell rang out. Although it sounded ordinary, the sound of the bell was soul-stirring. If a person at the first level of the manifestation realm heard this bell, their soul would probably be immediately shattered, and they would become an ownerless shell. Fortunately, this arena was big enough. Those who had not been tested were very far away, so it would not affect them. The first bell sound was only a half-star evaluation, and only 6 stars were considered to have passed. Therefore, the surrounding people did not show any signs of discomfort. Buzz! After 3 breaths, Elder Lingchong punched again, and the sound of the bell resounded once more. The second ring. Buzz! The third ring. These were all just appetizers. However, when the bell sounded for the 10th time, some people began to feel dizzy. Without true qi or wanxiang force, these bell sounds directly attacked their souls, and some people had already begun to sway. Buzz! When the bell sounded for the 11th time, some people's eyes rolled back as they fell backwards. Seeing this, Heavenly Thunder Hall experts immediately rushed in from outside the arena, carrying the fallen people away. If these fallen people continued to stay on the arena, their souls would be heavily injured, or even extinguished. After a Heavenly Thunder Hall disciple who was carried away was brought out, he also slowly recovered. He looked around and sighed helplessly. He did not survive the 11th ring, so it was still a 5-star evaluation. Only by surviving the 11th ring would he receive a 5.5-star evaluation. It looked like he had to focus on cultivating his soul. Buzz! When the bell sounded for the 12th time, quite a few more people fell. As long as they could survive this bell, they would be considered to have passed the soul trial. Of those participating in the trial, some focused on the cultivation of the physique while some focused on the cultivation of the soul. Of course, those who cultivated the soul were still in the majority. After all, the soul was linked to Wanxiang force. Therefore, the number of people who survived this round was actually much more than those who passed the physique test. However, what followed next was people falling in droves. Buzz! When the bell sounded for the 13th time, yet another 10-odd people's eyes rolled back as they fell onto the arena. Currently, there were still over 50 people standing, virtually all of them at the second level of the Nether Passage stage, with a few at the first level still holding on their figures swaying. Oh, not bad, there are actually still a few at the first level of the Nether Passage stage. Elder Lingchong was rather surprised. Actually, those at the first level of the Nether Passage stage who could survive 10 bell chimes would already be considered exceptional amongst those at the same level. However, as this was a test for entering the Heavenly Thunder Forbidden Land, the requirements were naturally higher. 1 breath. 2 breaths. After 2 breaths of the 13th bell chime, yet another person fell onto the arena. Immediately, Lingchong used the power of Wanxiang to directly fling this person out of the arena. The trial continued. Buzz! The 14th bell chime sounded. As long as one could last past 3 breaths, they would be assessed with 7 stars. The people outside were all guessing inwardly. How many first-level Nether Passage stage examinees would be able to achieve such an assessment? A breath passed. Thump! Someone fell. 1. 2 breaths passed and 2 of them fell. On the 3rd breath, all of the first-level Nether Passage stage examinees had fallen. No, there was still one more. The hell, that person is still not falling. Wasn't he the one who obtained an 8-star assessment in the physique test just now while at the first level of the Nether Passage stage? So strong, both his physique and soul being so strong. His battle prowess definitely isn't weak, right? The person the surrounding Heavenly Thunder Hall disciples were discussing was precisely Yixian. A mere 14 chimes of the soul bell were still nothing to Yixian. Up till now, he didn't seem to have any problems at all. Buzz! As the 15th bell chime sounded, Yixian still persisted. Chapter 1154. Thump! In just 2 breaths' time, another few Heavenly Thunder Hall core disciples of the second level of the Nether Passage stage had fallen. That person is so strong. Even those at the second level of the Nether Passage stage have already fallen, but he is still standing there. The strength of his soul comparable to the second level of the Nether Passage stage, his physique also reaching 8 stars. How is it that I have never heard of this person before? I saw him together with senior apprentice brother Ling Xiao earlier. Could he have just joined recently? The surrounding people all began to speculate. A genius like Yixian should not be unknown. The 15th bell chime defeated 6 Heavenly Thunder Hall core disciples at the second level of the Nether Passage stage. Wang. The 16th ring of the bell sounded. As long as he could hold on for 3 breaths' time, he would be able to attain an 8-star evaluation. It's about time. If it's too high, I'll be targeted a little. I'm only here to be tempered by the heavenly thunder. Yixian thought to himself. He was prepared to pretend to fall down in the second breath of time. However, just at this time, everyone listen up. All disciples who reach an 8-star evaluation will be rewarded with 3,000 inner devil pills, 3,000 for each higher evaluation, and so on. Suddenly, a foreign voice entered everyone's ears. Hearing this, everyone looked towards the source of the voice, discovering that the speaker was a gray-clothed middle-aged man. Perhaps some might not recognize him, but it was impossible for Ling Chong and the other higher echelons of the Heavenly Thunder Hall to not recognize him. Greetings, Hall Lord. Everyone shouted in unison. The one who had issued this reward was the current Hall Lord of the Heavenly Thunder Hall, Ling Xinglong. What, an 8-star evaluation reward of 3,000 inner devil pills. Hearing these words, whether it was those present or those outside, their eyes all lit up. It was the same for Yixian. The hell, wasn't there supposed to be no reward? Rather perplexed, Yixian quickly pondered for a moment. 3,000 inner devil pills was not a small sum to him, but to others it was even more of a huge fortune. This 16th ring of the bell, should he hold or not? Tsh, a bastard who doesn't earn money when there's money to be earned. Let's go all out. Yixian immediately made his decision. Hold. After 3 breaths of time, there were only a dozen people left on the arena. These dozen or so people had all reached an 8-star evaluation. Some of them were even able to hold on because they were stimulated by the heart demon pill. Otherwise, they would have already collapsed. Among them, only Yixian was at the first level of the Nether Passage realm. The rest were at least at the second level. How is this possible? This brat's soul strength has actually reached an 8-star evaluation? Holy shit! Could it be that the Palace Master's words have strengthened his mind and allowed him to hold on? Money really does make the world go round. This brat is really going all out for the heart demon pill. That's not right. Look, he seems to still have some energy left. Everyone's gazes were focused on Yixian. Indeed, Yixian still had some energy left after the 16th bell. Good boy, try the 17th bell. Ling Chong's eyes lit up. Then he punched the soul-ringing bell. Buzz. The 17th ring of the soul bell spread out slowly. Some of the people in the field immediately went limp after hearing the sound, unable to hold on. Thump. Thump. In just one breath, 3 people collapsed. In the second breath, another 3 people collapsed. At this moment, there were only 8 people left on the arena. In the third breath, there were only 6 people left on the arena. Jiao Chong, Gu Han and Su Liang, the 3 geniuses at the third level of the Nether Passage realm, were still fine. Jiao Heng and Jiao Lai, the 2 disciples of the Blackwater Lightning Wirm, were from the demon clan and had lived for 100 years, so their soul strength was also stronger than normal people. However, Yixian, who was at the first level of the Nether Passage realm, was actually able to hold on. It was practically a miracle. Inconceivable. Simply inconceivable. However, Yixian was actually already at the end of his strength. The 17th bell was his limit. Even if he lay down now, he would still have an 8.5-star evaluation, which was a full 6,000 heart demon pills. If he could hold on for another bell, then he would have 9,000 heart demon pills, which was enough for him to break through to the second level of the Nether Passage realm. Impossible, why is this brat still not lying down? Jiao Lai didn't dare to believe that there was still a first-level Nether Passage realm martial artist who hadn't collapsed, and he was also at the end of his strength. However, if he collapsed before Yixian, wouldn't he be laughed to death? Even if my body and soul are destroyed, I still won't fall before you. Jiao Lai gritted his teeth and prepared to continue. Elder Ling Chong looked around, and finally his gaze fell on Yixian. Peng. He didn't forget his duty, and punched the soul-tolling bell. Wang. The 18th sound of the bell rang out. Jiao Lai and Jiao Heng couldn't hold on any longer, and they fell limply to the ground. However, Yixian didn't fall. He just swayed there. Impossible. Jiao Lai didn't dare to believe that he had lost to a human. Moreover, this human's cultivation level was lower than his, and he was more than 70 years younger than him. At this moment, if he were awake, he would definitely bang his head against the wall. Everyone present held their breaths, waiting to see if Yixian would be able to survive this 18th bell. Terrifying, truly terrifying. The strength of Yixian's soul is actually even stronger than mine. If he can survive this bell, he will be evaluated as a 9-star. Outside, Ling Xiao said in shock. He had never thought that he would actually bring back such a monster to the Heavenly Thunder Hall this time. A mere first-level Nether Passage martial artist, already having the strength of a third-level Nether Passage martial artist's soul. His battle prowess shouldn't be too weak, as he would definitely be able to challenge those of a higher level. Elder Ling Chong's gaze fell on Yixian, saying, "This brat said to have just broken through to the Nether Passage stage, but his soul is already so powerful. If it were a normal first-level Nether Passage martial artist, they would definitely not be able to refine so many inner devil pills at all, instead falling into cultivation deviation. How exactly does this brat cultivate?" At this moment, Yixian had already survived past a breath's time, at the same time becoming the focal point of all gazes. Jiao Chong, Gu Han and Su Liang were also looking at Yixian. They especially hoped that Yixian would fall now so that they could regain some face. However, Yixian just did not fall. What the hell? If I had known earlier, I would have let Luoluo use the Eye of Bewitchment. That way, I would have been able to last till the 19th bell, or even the 20th. What a pity! Yixian thought with his last remaining shred of consciousness. The 19th bell would be an evaluation of 9.5 stars, a total of 12,000 inner devil pills. At that time, not only would he be able to break through, Wei Zhenqian would also be able to improve greatly. Forget it, I'll just give up. Yixian tottered a few steps before suddenly stomping hard with his feet, his entire person leaping off the arena. Now it was 2 breaths time. The entire place was silent. Chapter 1155. However, Yixian still knew his limits. After the soul chime bell rang, there would be unceasingly echoing sounds attacking his soul. He definitely would not be able to last until the 19th chime. After distancing himself from the soul chime bell, his soul stabilized, no longer suffering from the attacks as it began to recover. Compared to the others, he had a very good image. At the very least, he had not collapsed, instead remaining standing. Huff huff, still not able to last. Only 8.5 stars, but the reward of 6,000 inner devil pills is still there. Not bad, not bad. Yixian wiped the cold sweat off his forehead, looking completely exhausted as he tottered on the brink of collapse. It had to be said that this soul chime bell was very powerful, because Elder Ling Chong had only used an ordinary attack. If Elder Ling Chong had used his true qi and the power of all manifestations, the soul chime bell might have been able to instantly disperse the souls of several thousand people. Wow, Yixian, you're really too awesome. You're my idol. Ling Yun shot over to Yixian's side with a look of adoration on her face, supporting him. Ling Xiao swiftly approached as well. Yixian, who would have thought that you had hidden your strength so well? Whether it was in terms of physique or soul strength, you have already surpassed mine. Did you really just break through to the ethereal opening stage? Cough? Yixian smiled awkwardly. Weren't you two present when I broke through as well? When he had broken through that day, Ling Xiao and Ling Yun had been in the midst of detoxifying him. It had only been 5 days since then. Now Ling Xiong could be sure that Ling Xiao had not been lying that day. Yixian's strength was indeed on par with Ling Xiao's. Yixian is only at the first level of the ethereal opening stage, but his overall results are in the top 10. Then, he might be able to take one of the slots for the Heavenly Thunder Forbidden Grounds this time, Ling Xiong said to Yixian. Yixian nodded silently before looking towards the Heavenly Thunder Hall Lord. Currently, he was still thinking about those 6,000 inner devil pills. As long as he specially devoured these 6,000 inner devil pills, his strength would be able to increase greatly once more, taking one of the slots not a problem at all. If this kid's foundation is clean, he will definitely become a great battle force of our Heavenly Thunder Hall in the future. The Heavenly Thunder Hall's Hall Lord Ling Xinglong thought to himself. At the same time, noticing Yixian's gaze, he smiled. The soul strength test is complete. Everyone, rest for an hour. An hour later, we will begin the actual combat test to vie for a slot. Also, this is your reward. Without another word, Ling Xinglong began to distribute the Heart Devil pills, and then threw them to the core disciples whose soul strength had reached 8 stars. They're here. Yixian's eyes lit up when he saw the pouch flying towards him. Inside the pouch were 6,000 Devil's Heart pills. At this time he had already recovered a little, and had no problem moving around. He caught the pouch and swallowed all 6,000 inner demon pills in one go. The strength of his true energy, his physique, and the strength of his soul all soared in an instant. If he had another 2,000 or 3,000 inner demon pills, he would probably be able to break through to the second level of the Nether Passage realm. Before the Heavenly Thunder Hall's Hall Lord Ling Xinglong had spoken, the soul strength test on the stage had already ended. Jiao Chong, Gu Han and Su Liang, the 3 geniuses at the 3rd level of the Nether Passage realm, had all received 9 stars, slightly better than Yixian, receiving 9,000 Devil's Heart pills. At this time, Yixian was thinking that it would be great if they could snatch things in the upcoming actual combat test. Sadly, this was only a test and probably would not allow it. What came next was time for everyone to rest, allowing their souls to recover. Otherwise, they would not be able to deal with the upcoming actual combat test. After 2 rounds of tests, there were over 60 people whose physique and soul strength had both reached 6 stars. Of these 60-odd people, only 10 could enter the Heavenly Thunder Forbidden Land and be tempered by Heavenly Thunder. Yixian's physique was 8 stars, and his soul strength was 8.5 stars. However, this was merely a test. It was unknown whether the top 10 of the actual combat test would be rewarded. Thinking of this, Yixian could not help but look at the Deputy Hall Lord of the Heavenly Thunder Hall. In the past, there had virtually never been any rewards in the Heavenly Thunder Forbidden Land entry test. For there to actually be one this year, there must definitely be something that had attracted the Deputy Hall Lord's attention. Could it be me? Yixian's eyes narrowed. Thinking of it this way, it really was possible. Since that was the case, he would just amaze the world with a single brilliant feat in this actual combat. Very quickly an hour passed. After this hour of recovery, the competitors had virtually all recovered to their peak condition. That had only been a test earlier, so their souls had recovered quickly. If their souls had been heavily injured, it would not have been so easy to recover. Yixian and the other 76 began drawing lots once more. Yixian drew number 25, which was a good number matching his age. Of the 76 people, only 38 remained after the first round of 2-on-1 battles. Then, in 2-on-2 battles there would be 19 people left. Finally, one person would get a bye, leaving 9 people. That would make a total of 10. Simply put, other than that person who got a bye in the 3rd round, everyone would have to fight 3 battles. That Jiao Chong is number 66, Gu Han is number 73, Su Liang is number 27. Yixian secretly noted down the numbers of these 3, because only these 3 geniuses at the 3rd level of the ethereal opening stage could pose a threat to him. As for the others, they were all at the 1st and 2nd level of the ethereal opening stage, not much to him at all. Because there were a little too many people, the first round of battles was held in the side arenas. At the center of the arena, Elder Ling Chong's eyes flashed, and the next moment the entire arena changed. Crack! The massive arena suddenly descended, merging with the floor. At the same time, 38 smaller arenas rose up around it. The hell is this, a lift? Yixian was shocked, not having thought that this arena would actually be so high-tech. However, he quickly reacted. This arena should be some sort of mechanism that could be activated with the power of all forms. Even he could do it. Yixian, your opponent is number 23, Gu Xian. Now Ling Xiao suddenly said. Gu Xian, then he's from the Gu clan. Yixian raised an eyebrow. He had some recollection of this name because this was the person who was in the same group as him in the first round, who was at the 1st level of the ethereal opening stage. It seemed that this first round would be an easy win. The order of battle has been announced. All candidates enter the arena. Elder Ling Chong shouted from the air. Hearing this, Yixian and Gu Xian also jumped onto their designated arenas. This Gu Xian was at the 1st level of the ethereal opening stage, 2 years younger than Yixian, only 23. When he saw that his opponent was Yixian, His expression became extremely ugly. However, he was only 23 years old, and had only come this year to test his skills, so it didn't matter who his opponent was. Chapter 1156. How did the strength of your soul rise to such a level? Gu Xian could not help but ask. It was just a fortuitous encounter earlier. It would not be easy for one to cultivate to such a level normally, Yixian said humbly. I see. Then let us begin. Gu Xian brandished a sword. All right. Yixian nodded as well. The 38 arenas all began their respective battles. However, the outcome of Yixian's arena was decided in the blink of an eye. Eye of control. In just an instant, this Gu Xian was controlled by Yixian. Then Yixian directly punched out. This punch was extremely ordinary, not using true qi or the power of all manifestations, just the wind of the fist. The wind of the fist struck Gu Xian's body, directly sending him flying. Thump! Gu Xian landed outside the arena. Defeated. What's going on? Why isn't that Gu Xian retaliating? That's too fake. Was he intentionally going easy on him? No, that's not right. That Yixian used illusions. Illusions? Right, this Gu Xian's soul has yet to recover, falling for illusions extremely easily. That's why he was defeated. While it was said that there were 38 arenas, most of the people's gazes were only focused on a few of them, Yixian being one of them. At the same time, there were also a few arenas where the outcome was instantly decided, namely Jiaochong, Guhan and Su Liang. This kid actually has a soul-type ability as well. Impressive. Spectating from the side, the Heavenly Thunder Hall Lord narrowed his eyes. He too believed that Yixian had used illusions to bewitch Gu Xian before sending him flying out of the arena with a single punch. Then his gaze swept across the arena, finally landing on that profound water thunder Devaouring's Jiao Heng and Gu Han. Noticing his gaze, Elder Ling Chong nodded slightly in understanding as well. The Heavenly Thunder Hall Lord's intention was to have Jiao Heng and Gu Han battle in the next round. Jiao Heng was a genius of the Blackwater Lightning Flood Dragon, and was at the second level of the Nether Passage realm. Although Gu Han was a human, he was at the third level of the Nether Passage realm, one level higher than Jiao Heng. When the two of them fought, Gu Han had a 90% chance of winning. This was because this Heavenly Thunder Forbidden Land had a rule, and that was that the demonic beasts were not allowed to transform into their true forms. They had to fight in their human forms. If Gu Han won, then there would only be 4 Blackwater Lightning Flood Dragons left. At that time, one more person would be eliminated in the third round, and that would be 3 people. Out of the 10 spots, the Blackwater Thunder Flood Dragon occupied 3. This was already a good number. If the Blackwater Lightning Flood Dragon clan occupied 5 of them, then it would be half of them. This would definitely cause dissatisfaction among the other clans. Yixian, congratulations on your first victory. Ling Xiao smiled as he watched Yixian return. I didn't expect you to be able to use soul attacks as well. You've really hidden your strength well. Hee. Yixian grinned and said, I'm going to relieve myself. Since there were still over 20 rings that had yet to be completed, he wanted to make use of this chance to do something. Just now, he had already used the Eye of Control to control quite a few Heavenly Thunder Hall core disciples at the first level of the Nether Passage stage. Sadly, not a single one of these core disciples had achieved an 8-star evaluation in the soul strength test, thus not being rewarded with those 3,000 inner devil pills. Still, when all their wealth was gathered together, it would still be considerable. Yixian ordered these people to make use of this time to leave the ring, before going through all of their spatial rings. Bloody hell, it's only around 2,000 inner devil pills in total. I'm still a little short. Yixian was very helpless. He had still been preparing to break through to the second level of the Nether Passage stage in order to give the Heavenly Thunder Hall a pleasant surprise. Forget it, let's go back. Yixian continued issuing orders. Currently, he was already at the peak of the first level of the Nether Passage stage. With a few more heavenly treasures or inner devil pills, he would be able to break through to the second level of the Nether Passage stage. When he returned to the ring, he found that the battles had already ended, those who had won already beginning to recover. 10 minutes later, the second round of battles began. Yixian, your opponent for the second round is the Su family's Su Changdong, second level of the Nether Passage stage. Seeing Yixian return, Ling Xiao said, "Second level of the Nether Passage stage, huh?" Hearing this, Yixian's eyes flickered. Almost all of the first level of the Nether Passage stage participants had been eliminated in the first round, with very few making it into the second round. Therefore, it was inevitable that he would have to challenge someone of a higher level. This Su Changdong's strength is not bad. Still, he seems to have yet to learn the Heavenly Thunder Battle Halberd. "Yixian, you don't have to worry," Ling Yun said. "Yes." Yixian nodded. Actually, it didn't matter if he was strong or not. As long as he was at the second level of the Nether Passage stage, he had nothing to fear. A while later, the second round was about to begin. Elder Ling Chong activated the mechanism once more, instantly reducing the 38 rings to 19. "Enter the ring." Following Elder Ling Chong's order, Yixian and Su Changdong both leaped onto their designated rings. This Su Changdong had been dissatisfied with Yixian from the start. With his cultivation at the second level of the Nether Passage stage, his physique was 8 stars, and his soul strength was also 8 stars. This was already the same as Ling Xiao. However, Yixian, a first-level Nether Passage stage martial artist, actually had the same physique as him and a soul strength of 8.5 stars. This made him very unhappy. "Brat, the test of physique and soul strength doesn't mean anything. You can't beat me because of the difference in realms. If you know what's good for you, then go down yourself." Su Changdong looked at Yixian with a face full of contempt. Facing an opponent one level higher than him, Yixian had a calm expression. When he heard Su Changdong's words, he also subconsciously said, "Give me 100,000 inner demon pills, and I'll go down." 100,000 inner demon pills? Are you kidding me? Su Changdong was furious. He knew that Yixian was obviously looking down on him, so he didn't say anything and directly attacked. "Since you want to leave the ring so quickly, then I'll fulfill your wish." Yixian's eyes flashed, and his left hand abruptly turned into a claw. Left Azure Dragon stretching 8 powers. Forbidden Eye of Illusion. Burning Eye. Against someone of this level, Yixian didn't even need to use the Eye of Glory. Although more than an hour had passed since the start of the test, this Su Changdong had endured until the 16th ring of the bell, so his soul hadn't recovered yet and was directly affected. However, as a second-level Nether Passage stage martial artist, even if he fell into an illusion, he could still use his spiritual sense to fight. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. A fierce gust of wind swept up on the ring. Several True Chi heavenly dragons bared their fangs and brandished their claws as they pounced toward Su Changdong. Heaven-destroying cross-slash. Relying on his spiritual sense, Su Changdong aimed at these True Chi heavenly dragons and launched an attack. A cross-cut cut through the air and hit the True Chi heavenly dragon, but it was scattered by the claws of the True Chi heavenly dragon. How is this possible? Su Changdong felt his attack being defeated and cried out in alarm. "You really don't have good eyesight. This is a Nether Passage spirit art." Yixian snorted coldly and attacked again. Chapter 1157. Left Azure Dragon stretches its claws. 6th move of the 8 moves, 6 Dragons Circle. The 6 True Chi heavenly dragons pounce forward, but Su Changdong managed to hold on for a while. However, when Yixian executed the 7th Claw Divine Dragon swings its tail, Su Changdong, who had been trapped in an illusion, was sent flying out of the arena by the dragon's tail. Yixian victory. What a fellow! He actually succeeded in challenging someone of a higher level with just a low-grade ethereal passage divine ability. Elder Ling Chong's eyes lit up as he muttered, "But it's not that simple. Even I couldn't see how he used that illusion technique of his. I'm guessing that it's also a ethereal opening divine ability. After Su Changdong fell for it, he couldn't break out of the illusion." The Heavenly Thunder Hall's Lord Ling Xinglong said softly from the side. "Even the Patriarch can't tell?" Ling Chong was rather taken aback as he said, "My Heavenly Thunder Hall does have a soul-type ethereal opening mystic ability, but it shouldn't be to this extent. This might be a mid-grade ethereal opening mystic ability. I'm not sure. However, Su Changdong's soul hasn't recovered to its peak. That's why he fell." Ling Xinglong didn't care. After looking at the white-haired old man in the corner, he said in a low voice, "Let this kid fight with Jiao Lai in the next round." Jiao Lai? Elder Ling Chong shuddered. Jiao Lai was ranked second among the 5 from the Blackwater Lightning Flood Dragon clan. His strength was second only to Jiao Chong. This Jiao Lai could be considered strong. Even without transforming, he was still stronger than Su Qiangdong. He could probably fight Ling Xiao, who was at the peak of the second level of the Nether Passage realm. Would Yi Xian be able to handle it? This is father's idea. He feels that this kid is not using his full strength. Let's give it a try. If he loses, we can always try again next year, Ling Xinglong said softly. Entering the Heavenly Thunder Forbidden Land, 25 years old was the best. There wasn't much difference between 26 and 24 years old. However, when Yi Xian was 26 years old, he might break through to the second level of the Nether Passage realm. At that time, he would be able to withstand even more heavenly lightning, and the effects would be even better than those at the first level. Understood. Elder Ling Chong nodded. On the other side, a few unlucky core disciples of the Heavenly Thunder Hall, who encountered Jiao Chong's trio, were quickly defeated. One of them being Jiao Heng. The second level of the Nether Passage realm Jiao Heng had encountered the third level of the Nether Passage realm Gu Han. This caused those of the Profound Water Thunder Devouring clan to grit their teeth. They knew that this was the arrangement of the Heavenly Thunder Hall's lord, but they didn't dare to make a sound. Not long after, all the battles were over, and only 19 people remained. That kid actually won. Is he going to enter the top 10? So powerful. In the last match, he used the Ethereal Passage ability once, so his Zhen-Qi consumption was not that great. If he were to encounter a weaker opponent, he might really be able to make it into the top 10. Tisk tsk, let's see how lucky he is. Who knows, he might even get a bye. Very soon the rest time was over. Elder Ling Chong had already selected one of the participants with a bye. 9 out of the remaining 18 would be chosen. It had to be said that this person's luck was extremely good, because he didn't need to fight anymore and directly obtained a spot. Rumble. The layout of the arena changed again. Only 9 of the 19 arenas remained. Next, Elder Ling Chong began announcing the order of the battles. Jiao Chong, Gu Han and Su Liang would each face a second level of the Nether Passage realm. As for Yi Xian, he would actually face Jiao Lai of the Profound Water Thunder WRM clan. After the announcement of the order of the battles, the entire arena boiled over. It looked like Yi Xian was going to be killed in the cradle, only able to enter the Forbidden Heavenly Thundergrounds next year. Of course, there was also a small number of people who thought that Yi Xian might be able to create a miracle, Ling Xiao and Ling Yun being one of them. Although even Ling Xiao didn't have complete confidence in defeating Jiao Lai in human form. So it's you, kid. Looks like your luck has come to an end. Gazing into the distance, Jiao Lai's gaze fell on Yi Xian. However, he definitely wouldn't have thought that Yi Xian actually had absolute confidence in his victory. This Jiao Lai has been at the second level of the Nether Passage realm in both battles, his Zhen-Qi consumption being considerable. Also, he collapsed a breath before me just now, so his soul isn't at its peak. Finishing him off shouldn't be too hard. Yi Xian thought to himself. At this moment, even if he were to face Jiao Chong, he would probably be able to defeat him, let alone Jiao Lai, who was at the second level of the Nether Passage realm. Enter the arena. Elder Ling Chong shouted at this moment. 18 candidates leaped onto the arena. Kid, just admit defeat. If you let me attack, you'll definitely lose a few parts of your body, Jiao Lai said to Yi Xian with a haughty attitude. Killing was not allowed in this competition, as long as it didn't harm one's life. As for losing an arm or a leg, it was still a common occurrence. Then you can come and try. The corner of Yi Xian's mouth curled up slightly, his eyes gleaming. All right, since you want to die, I'll naturally fulfill your wish, Jiao Lai shouted, directly charging at Yi Xian with his bare hands. A mere second level of the Nether Passage realm dares to yell in front of me? You're courting death. Yi Xian's left hand immediately formed a claw and reached out. Left Azure Dragon stretching 8 powers. At the same time, he also used the Eye of Illusion and Burning Eye on Jiao Lai. Jiao Lai's soul had not recovered, but he had lived for 100 years. Under the suppression of his realm, the effect was not as good as the previous candidate. Using a claw art in front of me? You're looking down on me. Jiao Lai was furious, his hands grabbing at the air. Whoosh whoosh. 2 black claw shadows, one from the left and one from the right, grabbed the True Chi Heavenly Dragon and exploded it in an instant. Jiao Lai was a Blackwater Lightning Wyrm, born with a unique understanding of claw arts. Yi Xian actually used a claw art in front of him, provoking him. Looks like I won't be able to kill you if I don't show some ability. Yi Xian's eyes widened. Wearing the brilliant golden armor, his entire aura changed. Left Azure Dragon stretching 8 powers. His left hand quickly waved, and golden heavenly dragons appeared one after another, pouncing toward Jiao Lai. At the same time, Wei Zhentian had somehow circled behind Jiao Lai. Rolling Thunder Armor. Jiao Lai felt that Yi Xian's techniques were a little complicated, so he had to make sure his defense was strong enough. As his true qi and all creation strength surged out, Jiao Lai's body was covered by a layer of thunder and lightning. Wei Zhentian had just pierced in when he was electrocuted and cracked. Now Wei Zhentian was only at the first tier of the ethereal opening realm, but this rolling thunder armor was a ethereal opening divine ability. However, the moment Wei Zhentian shattered, it turned into countless sharp blades and stabbed toward Jiao Lai. Although it could not hurt Jiao Lai, it could consume the true qi and all creation strength on the rolling thunder armor. Kid, I want your hands. Jiao Lai did not care at all. He reached out with both hands and 2 black claws appeared, ready to tear off Yi Xian's hands. But at this moment, is that so? Chapter 1158. ZZ. Thunder Rumbling Armor. What? That's impossible. Jiao Lai was greatly shocked. The Thunder Rumbling Armor was their profound Water Thunder Flood Dragon clan's ability. Why did this Yi Xian know it as well? What's impossible about it? I know this move too. Yi Xian smiled once more. Executing the left Azure Dragon stretches out 8 stances with his left hand, while his right hand executed the heaven-ripping hand that Jiao Lai had just used. Bang! On the arena, waves of qi roiled. Yi Xian and Jiao Lai clashed, unable to determine the victor. Impossible. How could he know the thunder rumbling armor and the heaven-ripping hand? Below the arena, the profound Water Thunder Flood Dragon clan experts were all shocked. Not just them, even the Heavenly Thunder Hall Lord and the others were the same. The most bewildered of all were Ling Xiao, Ling Yun and Ling Xiong. They knew that Yi Xian had only just joined the Heavenly Thunder Hall. How could he know the profound Water Thunder Flood Dragon clan's ability? Brat, you actually dare to secretly learn the abilities of my profound Water Thunder Flood Dragon. Go die. Jiao Lai no longer cared as he directly attacked. However, having learnt these 2 abilities, Yi Xian was already in an invincible position. Having fought 2 battles earlier, Jiao Lai's soul had yet to recover to its peak. To Yi Xian, he would have been able to finish him off within 3 seconds. Now only a single second had passed. Left Azure Dragon stretches out 8 stances. Yi Xian calmly began summoning the Golden Heavenly Dragon. Both the left Azure Dragon stretches out 8 stances and the Heaven Ripping Claw were low-grade Nether Passage abilities. The first 4 stances would be weaker than the Heaven Ripping Claw, but at the 6th stance its power would double that of the Heaven Ripping Claw. Without a leader at the end, it would be at least twice as powerful as the Heaven Ripping Claw. Yi Xian had only used the Heaven Ripping Claw to stall for time, that was all. Left Azure Dragon stretches out 8 stances, 6th stance, 6 dragons revolve. Finally, this move was executed by Yi Xian to its 6th stance. Now, the 6 heavenly dragons on the arena already surpassed the Heaven Ripping Claw in power. Not only that, but Jiao Lai's forehead was also covered in cold sweat. This was because he was constantly being tortured by the burning eye. No, impossible. It's impossible that I can't even take care of a first-level Nether Passage realm martial artist. I don't believe it. Jiao Lai roared and began to madly use Heaven-Tearing Claw. However, Yi Xian easily blocked all of them. Zhuqinglong stretches its claws. 7th move of the 8 moves. Divine Dragon swings its tail. A golden sky dragon turned its body and whipped its tail toward Jiao Lai. The power of this move was more than twice as strong as the Heaven-Tearing Claw. Jiao Lai could not block it at all and was directly blasted, flying out backward. However, he didn't fly out of the arena. He relied on the thunder armor to hold on. You do have some ability. Try this move again. Yi Xian's eyes flickered, and his left hand reached out again. Zhuqinglong stretches its claws. 8th move of the 8 moves, Leaderless Dragons. This time, 8 golden sky dragons attacked together. At the same time, they were assisted by the Heaven-Tearing Claw and Megatron. Although Zhao Lai was very unwilling, he really did not have the ability to block this move again. With a bang, he was blasted out of the arena. The clothes on his body were already torn to pieces, almost blinding the eyes of the people around him. Zhao Lai defeated. The entire arena was silent. Yixian defeating Su Changdong was one thing, but now he had even defeated Zhao Lai of the Blackwater Thunder Devouring family. His strength was a little terrifying. Look, his feet haven't moved at all. Damn, it's true. He stood in the same spot and defeated Zhao Lai? This brat can't be a reincarnator, right? Otherwise, how can he be so strong? The surrounding people exclaimed in shock. Yixian's strength was indeed so strong that it was suspicious, but it was not at the level of a reincarnator. Reincarnators were not simple people. Take Imo Shui, for example. Imo Shui was only at the 7th level of the manifestation realm, but he was able to kill a Nether Passage realm martial artist. This was 3 levels higher than him. Also, due to his low cultivation level, he was unable to use many things. For Yixian to be able to beat him into a retreat was already an extremely good battle result. This brat indeed hides his strength deeply. Also, he still has strength to spare. His true battle prowess is probably at the 3rd level of the Nether Passage realm. The Lord of the Heavenly Thunder Hall, Ling Xinglong, thought to himself. Right now, Yixian had already passed 3 rounds. Amongst the 10 spots he had a seat. Impossible. That Zhao Lai who had been blasted out of the arena by Yixian crawled up from the ground, pointing at Yixian in disbelief. Yixian glanced at him, revealing an extremely disdainful look on his face. Defeat was not a true defeat. It was only those who did not admit it that were true defeats. He would not spare such a person a second glance. Big brother, take revenge for me. Zhao Lai's voice suddenly resounded from behind him, closely followed by the howling of the wind. What? Within the range of Yixian's eye of perception, someone had acted against him. This position belonged to that Zhao Chong. Stop! Those of the Profound Water Thunder Devouring clan hurriedly roared. What a joke! With the Lord of the Heavenly Thunder Hall present, Zhao Chong actually dared to injure him. This was not arrogance but stupidity. However, Zhao Chong had acted too quickly such that even Elder Ling Chong was unable to react in time. The Lord of the Heavenly Thunder Hall reacted. With his strength he could receive this blow of Zhao Chong's. However, he did not, because he wanted to see Yixian's true strength. At this moment, Yixian did not even turn as he directly condensed his true qi, and the power of all manifestations. Heaven-shocking armor. Glorious golden armor. Thunder-rumbling armor. With 3 great defenses on him, Yixian would not be killed so easily. Bang! That punch of Zhao Chong's landed directly on Yixian's back, directly dispersing the thunder-rumbling armor as well as shattering the armor that Wei Zhenqian had transformed into. However, by the time it landed on the glorious golden armor, there was already not much force behind it as it only sent Yixian flying a little. Papa! Yixian stabilized himself before pretending to spurt out a mouthful of blood, abruptly turning and glaring furiously at Zhao Chong. Why did you launch a sneak attack on me? Yixian roared furiously. This scene was so sudden that everyone present was dazed. This Blackwater Thunder Devouring clan was actually arrogant to such an extent, launching a sneak attack on a core disciple of the Heavenly Thunder Hall, right in front of the Lord of the Heavenly Thunder Hall. Most importantly, the sneak attack of the 3rd level of the Nether Passage stage Zhao Chong had actually been blocked by the 1st level of the Nether Passage stage Yixian. This is impossible. Zhao Lai had originally thought that Yixian was dead for sure, but now, seeing that not only was Yixian not dead, he was even able to turn around and angrily rebuke Zhao Chong, this Zhao Lai was already completely speechless. The experts of the Blackwater Thunder Devouring clan were stunned for a moment before they hurriedly shot towards Zhao Chong. Even if Zhao Chong continued attacking now, they would be able to block him. However, that earlier strike could not be taken as having never happened. He does indeed have some ability. The Lord of the Heavenly Thunder Hall, Ling Xinglong, thought to himself before glaring furiously at Zhao Chong. Who gave you the guts to actually launch a sneak attack right in front of me? Please forgive me, Lord, please forgive me. Seeing his younger brother injured, Zhao Chong unconsciously acted. Chapter 1159. Subconscious? If not for Yixian having some ability, wouldn't he have died under that blow? Ling Xinglong glared furiously at this gray-clothed old man. The gray-clothed old man was rendered speechless by these words. He could tell that Jiao Chong had wanted to kill Yixian earlier. If Yixian did not have some ability, he might already have been killed. There were quite a few experts present and they could all tell. What should they do now? I will take responsibility for my own actions. Now Jiao Chong suddenly roared. These words frightened the gray-clothed old man as he hurriedly rolled his eyes, roaring furiously in a low voice. Shut up! This Jiao Chong was someone painstakingly nurtured by the Blackwater Thunder Flood Dragon, and was also the son of the Blackwater Thunder Flood Dragon family's head. Now that he had launched a sneak attack on Yixian, if the Heavenly Thunder Hall's Hall Lord was enraged and forbade Jiao Chong from entering the Heavenly Thunder Forbidden Grounds, that would be a huge loss. Currently, the gray-clothed old man was cursing Jiao Chong furiously within his heart as well. Already 100 years old, still so unruly. Is your Heavenly Thunder Hall the Jiao family? Good, you will take responsibility for your own actions. You have guts. The Heavenly Thunder Hall's Hall Lord Ling Xinglong's eyes lit up. This way he would have a reason to punish this Jiao Chong. But just at this moment. Hall Lord, this is the fault of our Blackwater Thunder Flood Dragon family. Please show mercy. We are willing to compensate, the gray-clothed old man hurriedly said. Compensate? Do you think? Before the Heavenly Thunder Hall's Hall Lord Ling Xinglong had finished speaking, another voice resounded. Fine, compensate. This voice entered everyone's ears. As they looked towards the source of the voice, they discovered that it was Yixian who had spoken. Right, we are willing to compensate. Little brother, we were in the wrong in this matter. How much do you want? Seeing that the situation had taken a turn for the better, the gray-clothed old man hurriedly said. 2,000 inner demon pills. Yixian directly said. He had only spat out a bit of blood, and that was just an act. Now that his internal injuries had already recovered, 2,000 inner demon pills should be enough. However, him stepping forward caused the Heavenly Thunder Hall's Hall Lord Ling Xinglong to be a little puzzled. This brat is really a money grubber. Now that I'm here to uphold justice for him, he's actually scared? Ling Xinglong raised his eyebrows. He thought that Yixian didn't want to provoke the Xianshui Lightning Jiao family, so he chose to compromise. However, he didn't know that Yixian deliberately didn't fight back because of this compensation. 2,000 inner demon pills were enough for Yixian to break through to the second level of the Nether Passage realm. As long as he broke through to the second level of the Nether Passage realm, the benefits at that time would not be as simple as 2,000 inner demon pills. Is this kid stupid? He actually chose to compromise? Now that the Hall Master is clearly standing up for him, he is actually terrified. I really don't understand. That's right. The surrounding people were confused. 2,000 inner demon pills. When the gray-robed old man heard this number, he muttered to himself and immediately revealed a smile. 2,000 inner demon pills were nothing to him. As long as he could protect Jiao Chong, even 5,000 or 10,000 inner demon pills would be worth it. Immediately, the gray-robed old man took out 2,000 inner demon pills before tossing them to Yixian. As Yixian caught the inner demon pills, light shot out from his eyes. As long as he broke through to the second level of the Nether Passage realm, he would be able to crush this Jiao Chong to death with a single hand. 2,000 inner demon pills have already been given to you. This matter can be considered settled. The gray-robed old man emphasized as he glanced at the Heavenly Thunder Hall Master. Alright, let's leave it at that. Yixian smiled slightly. His objective had been achieved. However, at this time, the Heavenly Thunder Hall Master Ling Xinglong suddenly spoke. Jiao Chong's death sentence can be spared, but he cannot escape punishment. I had originally wanted to restrict Jiao Chong from entering the Heavenly Thunder Forbidden Grounds. Now, your Xianshui Lightning Jiao family should eliminate one of your people. When Jiao Chong had ambushed Yixian, the other two had also obtained victory, so the Xianshui Lightning Jiao had obtained 3 spots. Now, one had to be eliminated. The gray-robed old man was rather troubled. He understood that this was Ling Xinglong's fury. He had no choice but to comply. Fortunately, it was only eliminating one person. He had the final say. At most, he could just come back next year. Alright, Jiao Yu. Come back next year. The gray-robed old man's gaze finally landed on one person. Yes. This Xianshui lightning Jiao youth called Jiao Yu nodded. He knew that he had become Jiao Chong's scapegoat. However, Jiao Chong was the young master of the Xianshui lightning Jiao family. When he returned, he would still be compensated. It was only a year's time. He could afford to wait. Now there were only 2 spots left for the Xianshui lightning Jiao. Since that is so, let's leave it at that. Just this once. Ling Xinglong snorted coldly. Originally, he had wanted to forbid Jiao Chong from entering the Heavenly Thunder Forbidden Grounds. However, thinking that if Jiao Chong were to be restricted, the Xianshui lightning Jiao family would definitely come to make trouble, he decided to leave it at that. However, he had caught sight of the crafty expression on Yixian's face after obtaining those 2,000 inner demon pills. This kid is definitely not someone who is afraid of trouble. Ling Xinglong thought to himself. However, all in all, this matter could be considered to have come to an end. That Jiao Lai did not expect things to escalate to this point. He was a little regretful that he had almost ruined Jiao Chong's future. If this matter really got out of hand, he would definitely be whipped to death. Jiao Chong was carefully nurtured by the Xianshui lightning Jiao family. After entering the Heavenly Thunder Forbidden Grounds and enduring the attacks of the Heavenly Lightning, he might be able to transform from a Xianshui lightning Jiao into a dragon. At that time, Jiao Chong could be considered to have soared into the sky. Alright, the 9 spots for the Heavenly Thunder Forbidden Grounds have been chosen. Everyone can disperse. Tomorrow, you will enter the Heavenly Thunder Forbidden Grounds with my Ling family's team. Seeing that the examination had ended, Ling Xinglong loudly announced. Soon, the people in the examination arena left one after another. Yixian, you are too awesome. You actually blocked Jiao Chong's attack. After entering the Heavenly Thunder Forbidden Grounds, your body and soul will receive the baptism of the Heavenly Lightning. I estimate that you will break through to the 2nd level of the Nether Passage realm very soon. Ling Xiao immediately went up and said in shock. Hearing this, Yixian bitterly smiled in his heart. Without the baptism of the Heavenly Lightning, he could immediately break through to the 2nd level of the Nether Passage realm. However, with so many experts around, if he suddenly broke through, it would definitely cause a huge uproar. Thus, he felt that it was better to go back first. In any case, he had already obtained what he wanted, so he could break through whenever he wanted. However, after he left, Jiao Chong and Jiao Lai also looked at his back with resentment. Big brother, how could this kid be so strong? Jiao Lai said unwillingly. This kid's sword is a good thing. Jiao Chong muttered. He felt that it was Yixian's sky-shaking sword that could transform into tens of thousands of forms that protected Yixian. Otherwise, just relying on the thunder armor and brilliant golden armor would not have been able to block that punch of his. Big brother, are we just going to let this matter go like this? I am unwilling. I should have entered the Heavenly Thunder Forbidden Grounds this year. Chapter 1160. Originally, Jiao Lai would definitely have been able to obtain a slot. However, this Yixian had appeared out of nowhere, kicking him out of the top 10. This meant that he would have to wait another year before being able to enter. While this was nothing much to the demon race, where would they vent their anger? No rush. We are only competing for a slot into the Heavenly Thunder Forbidden Grounds now. This does not mean that he will not meet with danger there. As long as we enter the Heavenly Thunder Forbidden Grounds, I will be able to transform into my true form. At that time, I will be able to casually crush him to death. Jiao Chong had a disapproving look on his face. While it was he who had ambushed Yixian earlier, Yixian had kicked Jiao Lai out. This grudge could not be left unavenged. With the competition for the Heavenly Thunder Forbidden Grounds over, Yixian returned to his lodgings. Breaking through to the 2nd level of the Nether Passage stage only required around 1,000 inner devil pills. However, Yixian still went to the Heavenly Thunder Hall's artifact forging hall, exchanging all 2,000 inner devil pills for forging materials. Ding, the host has broken through. Currently at the 2nd level of the Nether Passage stage. Ding, Wei Zhentian has broken through. 2 system notifications resounded consecutively. After breaking through, Yixian's strength had skyrocketed. He was confident that he could defeat that Jiao Chong, even if the latter transformed into his true form. In fact, it might even be 1 against 3. Simultaneously battling Jiao Chong, Gu Han and Su Liang, 3 great geniuses at the 3rd level of the Nether Passage stage. We will be entering the Heavenly Thunder Forbidden Grounds tomorrow. I hear that there are some lightning-type heavenly connection beasts there, namely thunder beasts. Yixian thought to himself. This was something that Ling Xiao had told him earlier. Still, with his strength, rampaging through the heavenly thunder forbidden grounds would be no problem at all. Very quickly a day's time passed. When the next day arrived, Yixian went to meet up with Ling Xiao and Ling Yun. This time the Ling family also had 10-odd people entering the heavenly thunder forbidden grounds. Yixian, you've come. Waiting outside the heavenly thunder hall. Seeing Yixian emerge, Ling Xiao called out as well. Although Yixian had already broken through to the second level of the Nether Passage realm and could control Ling Xiao, the latter treated him as a friend, so he felt that it was best to forget about it. Currently, there were already quite a few people gathered outside the heavenly thunder hall. 16 from the Ling family and 9 from the other clans added together. That was to say 9 from Yixian, making a total of 25. The one leading the team this time was Elder Ling Chong. This brat dares to make so many people wait? Jiao Chong's eyes flickered. Yixian ignored Jiao Chong's murderous glare and glanced at the Ling family team on the other side. The Ling family also had 3 experts at the 3rd level of the Nether Passage realm. The one in the lead was called Ling Mutian, and he was the younger brother of the number 1 genius of the Ling family, Ling Zhantian. This time he wanted to use the Forbidden Sky Thundergrounds to break through to the 4th level of the Nether Passage realm. While some of them had not been present that day, the matter of Yixian had spread throughout the entire Heavenly Thunder Hall within a single day, directly becoming famous. So this is Yixian? He doesn't look like much. I heard that he received a blow from Jiao Chong. TSK, Jiao Chong's strength is basically not worth mentioning in front of Brother Mutian. That's not bad. After all, he's only at the 1st level of the Nether Passage realm as 2nd level of the Nether Passage realm? As soon as these words were said, everyone else was simultaneously shocked as well. They could feel that Yixian had actually already broken through to the 2nd level of the Nether Passage realm. How was this possible? Yesterday, Yixian had still been at the 1st level of the Nether Passage realm, seizing a spot in the Forbidden Sky Thunder Grounds. Now, Yixian had actually broken through to the 2nd level of the Nether Passage realm. This was really too much of a coincidence. Yixian, you broke through? Noticing that something was not right, Ling Xiao asked in shock. That's right. This is all thanks to that punch of senior apprentice brother Jiao Chong. Yixian grinned. In just a few short days, he had broken through from the 1st level of the Nether Passage realm to the 2nd level of the Nether Passage realm. This was really inconceivable. Your previous battle prowess was probably not inferior to mine. Now that you've broken through to the 2nd level of the Nether Passage realm, then... As Ling Xiao spoke, he suddenly shut up as he unconsciously glanced at Jiao Chong. He saw Jiao Chong gazing in their direction with a dark expression, his gaze seemingly saying, even if I've broken through to the 2nd level of the Nether Passage realm, I can still crush you to death with a single hand. Alright, while it's not time yet, everyone is already here. Let's be on our way. Elder Ling Chong retracted his gaze from Yixian. After sending a signal towards the skies, a figure descended from the sky. This was a large eagle whose entire body flickered with the light of lightning, large enough to carry 50 people. Alright, everyone get on the back of the Thunderbolt Eagle and prepare to depart. Elder Ling Chong was the first to leap onto the back of the Thunderbolt Eagle. Yixian and the others did the same. This Forbidden Sky Thunder Grounds was not within the Heavenly Thunder Hall. Instead, it was somewhere else, roughly a day's journey away from the Heavenly Thunder Hall. Meanwhile, this Thunderbolt Eagle was a heavenly connection beast comparable to a 4th level Nether Passage realm martial artist. It would only require 1 or 2 hours to reach the Forbidden Sky Thunder Grounds. Yixian and the rest of the 26 set off. On the way to the Forbidden Sky Thunder Grounds, Elder Ling Chong explained, I believe that everyone already knows that the Forbidden Sky Thunder Grounds is not without danger. There are also some heavenly connection beasts. If you can slay these lightning beasts, you can come here to exchange them for Heart Devil pills. A 1st level Nether Passage Heavenly Connection Beast is 100 Heart Devil pills. A 2nd level Nether Passage Heavenly Connection Beast is 500 Heart Devil pills. A 3rd level Nether Passage Heavenly Connection Beast is 2,500 Heart Devil pills, and so on. Hearing this, Yixian's eyes lit up. He had not thought that there would still be such a way to earn money. Ling Xiao had actually forgotten to tell him about it. With his strength, Slaying a third-level nether passage heavenly connection beast was no problem at all. This was all money. The corpse of a third-level nether passage heavenly connection beast, even if the beast's soul was included, would still not be able to reach 2,500 heart devil pills. This could be considered a benefit of the Heavenly Thunder Hall. Elder Lingchong paused for a moment before continuing. Also, there are some spots of lightning within the Forbidden Sky Thunder grounds. These spots of lightning change every day. You have to stand within these spots of lightning, using the power of all manifestations to guide the heavenly lightning. Only then can you temper the strength of your physique and soul. According to the past calculations of my Heavenly Thunder Hall, the strength of one's physique and soul will be the lesser. If one's physique and soul are respectively at 6 stars and 7 stars, they will be able to guide 6 streaks of heavenly lightning to temper their body. If one is at 6.5 stars and 7 stars, they can instead try 7 streaks of heavenly lightning according to their own circumstances. They just have to use the power of all manifestations to resist it for a while. After hearing this, Yixian could not help but think of his own results. While his physique was only at 8 stars, this was because he had concealed his strength. If he truly tested it, he would be able to reach 8.5 stars, and his soul would also be at 8.5 stars. In other words, he would be able to receive at least 8 streaks of heavenly lightning. However, one must not forget that he had already broken through. If he were to test it again, 9 stars would not be an issue. Therefore, he was guaranteed to receive at least 9 streaks of heavenly lightning. He also did not know how much his physique and soul would improve after being tempered by 9 streaks of heavenly lightning. Chapter 1161. Very quickly, 2 hours passed, and Ling Chong's group arrived at a lightning prison on the Lightning Eagle. This was the Forbidden Lightning Grounds. It was pitch black inside, surrounded by the formations of the Heavenly Thunder Hall. Elder Ling Chong let the Thunderhawk land outside the Forbidden Heavenly Lightning Grounds. He then said, "All right, everything has been explained clearly. You have 3 days to enter the Forbidden Heavenly Lightning Grounds. If you don't come out after 3 days, you can use these broken thunderstones to leave the formation and return." Saying this, he distributed the lightning-breaking stones. These things could break through the defensive formations of the Forbidden Lightning Grounds, but could only be used once. Next, Elder Ling Chong broke through the formations of the Forbidden Lightning Grounds, allowing everyone to enter. Yixian was also among them, entering the Forbidden Lightning Grounds. As soon as he entered, he felt a berserk yuan qi of heaven and earth, with lightning appearing in the air from time to time. This place was extremely terrifying, but to the mystic water lightning serpent it was a pretty good place to live. "All right, everyone be careful," Ling Mutian yelled, leaving everyone behind as he left by himself. The lightning of the Forbidden Lightning Grounds all had a fixed number of times. If they were all gathered together, it would be impossible to completely temper them in 3 days, so they had to split up to search for them. "Yixian, let's go together." At this time, Ling Xiao glanced at Jiao Chong, then said to Yixian. He was afraid that Jiao Chong was plotting something, and he was also a member of the Ling family. With him here, Jiao Chong wouldn't be able to do anything to Yixian. "I appreciate your good intentions, but a mere Jiao Chong is nothing to me. You guys go first." Yixian directly rejected Ling Xiao and Ling Yan's invitation. Indeed, his strength was already at the peak of this group. If that Jiao Chong came knocking on his door, he wouldn't mind taking care of him. Moreover, he was also preparing to let Luoluo undergo the tempering of the heavenly lightning, so it wouldn't be convenient for Ling Xiao and Ling Yun to follow. Yesterday, he had also taken a piece of frost steel, then secretly let Luoluo test it. Luoluo's physique was also 8.5 stars, but her soul strength was about the same as Yixian's. In other words, she could also test 9 bolts of heavenly lightning. "All right, we'll take our leave first." Ling Xiao glanced at Jiao Chong and left with Ling Yun. At this time, most of the people who had passed the examination and entered the Heavenly Thunder Forbidden Land had already left. Gu Han and Su Liang had also left. Now only Jiao Chong, another disciple from the Blackwater Lightning Jiao clan, and Yixian were left. "Brat, you better not let me see you inside, or you'll die miserably." After Jiao Chong said those words, he left with the other person. This was the entrance to the Heavenly Thunder Forbidden Grounds, and with a Heavenly Thunder Hall elder behind him, Jiao Chong would not dare to act rashly. However, if they were to meet inside, it would be a different story. Killing Yixian and then feeding Yixian's corpse to the heavenly connecting beast, even if someone suspected it, there was no evidence. After all, many people had died in the heavenly thunder forbidden land over the years, including the Ling clan. Right now, Yixian was the only one who hadn't left. However, before Jiao Chong left, he controlled the lackey beside him. Let's not care about this Jiao Chong for now. Let's find a lightning strike point first. Yixian couldn't be bothered with anything else as he directly left. While there were dangers in the heavenly thunder forbidden land, as the heavenly thunder hall would send people in every year, the lightning beasts inside maintained a balance. Yixian ran for a full 10 minutes, yet did not see a single bolt of heavenly lightning. It was like the calm before the storm. Finally, half an hour after he had entered the heavenly thunder forbidden land. Rumble! A rumbling sound resounded from the horizon. Yixian swiveled his head, immediately rushing over. Very quickly, he saw an area that had been charred by lightning. Heavenly lightning is currently condensing in the sky. My luck is pretty good. Yixian's eyes lit up as he hurriedly leapt into the lightning strike point. Rumble! A streak of white light flashed across the sky. Raising his head, Yixian saw a bolt of lightning descend. He immediately used the power of all manifestations to guide this bolt of heavenly lightning. Zizi! The heavenly lightning struck his body, stimulating every single cell in his body as well as his soul. So this is the tempering of heavenly lightning? Not bad. If I were to completely absorb this power of lightning within my body, I would be able to raise my strength by quite a bit. Yixian felt like this trip had been worth it. The number of bolts of heavenly lightning in a single lightning strike point was not fixed. Thus, Yixian directly called Luoluo over. Luoluo, finish it first. Yixian gave the lightning strike point to Luoluo, letting her finish it first before anything else. Sadly, this lightning strike point only had 3 strikes. Earlier, when Yixian had received one, Luoluo had only received 1. Young master, if I were to receive 9 bolts of heavenly lightning, I would more or less be able to break through to the second level of the nether passage stage. Luoluo said. Alright, let us continue on our way. Yixian nodded. According to Ling Xiao, the closer they got to the depths of the heavenly thunder forbidden land, the more concentrated the lightning strikes would be. Very quickly, he found the second lightning strike point. Luoluo received another 2 strikes of heavenly lightning. However, he did not encounter a single heavenly beast. Why was that? Could they all be hibernating? Yixian raised an eyebrow. He had originally planned to make a fortune here. When he left, perhaps he would be able to break through to the 3rd level of the nether passage stage. However, he did not encounter a single heavenly beast. This was a little strange. Forget it. Let Luoluo finish first. Without another word, Yixian continued on his way. The lightning strikes were indeed as Ling Xiao had said. The closer they got to the depths, the more concentrated they were. In just half a day, Luoluo had already received 9 bolts of heavenly lightning. Whether it was her body or the strength of her soul, they had both greatly improved. Yixian estimated that the strength of Luoluo's soul had already surpassed Jiao Chong's, and perhaps even Ling Mutian's. Then it would be his turn next. However, after he finished receiving the lightning strikes, there was a sudden change in the heavenly thunder forbidden land. At this time it was a day after he entered the heavenly thunder forbidden land. Rumble! 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 In the distant horizon, lightning suddenly intersected. Bolt after bolt of heavenly lightning struck the ground. In the blink of an eye, more than 20 bolts of heavenly lightning had struck the ground. Something seems to have happened there. Yixian narrowed his eyes. Curious, he decided to go there and take a look. However, when he was halfway there, an explosive roar sounded. It was like a dragon's roar, but it was not. So it's some powerful heavenly beast. Yixian immediately reacted. However, there seemed to be a battle erupting there, but he did not know who it was. When Yixian got closer, he discovered that a beast tide had erupted. Countless heavenly beasts rushed out in all directions like ripples. Chapter 1162. That was the corpse of a blue dragon, its entire body crackling with electricity. Meanwhile, in the air above it were several figures. Yixian recognized all of them. Jiao Chong Ling Mutian Gu Han Su Liang. Sweeping his gaze over, Yixian actually discovered that there were so many third-level ethereal opening experts, a total of 6 of them. Now, roar! Jiao Chong suddenly roared towards the heavens, instantly transforming into a blue flood dragon. Next, he swooped downwards, biting down on the neck of that dragon corpse as he began madly absorbing its essence blood. That dragon seems to be the rather rare Thunder Roar dragon. Is this Jiao Chong thinking of transforming into a dragon with its essence blood? Yixian immediately reacted. He guessed that Jiao Chong had come to an agreement with the others that as long as they helped him kill this Thunder Roar dragon, they would be rewarded. They had probably already planned this from the very start, thus having arrived here earlier than Yixian. Those heavenly connection beasts had all come to protect him. However, following the death of the Thunder Roar dragon, these heavenly connection beasts had all scattered. This Ling family is actually helping the Jiao. If the Hall Lord were to learn of this, would he vomit blood? Yixian could not help but think to himself. The Heavenly Thunder Hall still felt that the profound water thunder flood dragon was too strong, fearing that it would turn the tables on them in the future. Now, however, Ling Mutian and the others were actually helping Jiao Chong. Should they be called ignorant or greedy? Still, Yixian could not be bothered with that. That Thunder Roar dragon was a 4th-level ethereal opening, heavenly connection beast. If it were to be exchanged, it would be worth 12,500 inner devil pills. While these inner devil pills would not allow Yixian to break through, they would be able to raise his strength by a great deal. At the same time, Wei Zhenqian would be able to break through to the 3rd level of the ethereal opening stage at the very least, perhaps even the 4th level. TSK. Let's go snatch the corpse. Yixian grinned. Since he had already formed a grudge with this profound water thunder flood dragon clan, he might as well blow things up a little more. Azure Dragon Claws extending 8 stances, Yixian immediately summoned a few sky dragons to open up a path for him. Those sky-reaching beasts that he had killed along the way were all sucked into his devouring space without exception. At this moment, Ling Mutian and the others in the distance raised their brows. They did not notice Yixian. Instead, they saw the changes in Jiao Chong's body. The essence blood of the Thunder Roar dragon is really effective. It seems that Jiao Chong can really transform into a dragon this time, Ling Mutian said with a frown. Senior brother Ling, if we do this, will the Hall Master be unhappy? Gu Han asked. It's fine. Even if this Jiao Chong succeeds in transforming into a dragon, he should still be unable to threaten our Heavenly Thunder Hall. Ling Mutian shook his head. Even if the Mystic Water Thunder Jiao transformed into a Mystic Water Thunder Dragon, Jiao Chong was the only one. Although his descendants could also be dragons, there was still a long gap. The Heavenly Thunder Hall would not allow the profound Water Thunder Flood Dragon to rise like this. When the time came, some measures would be taken. At this moment, visible changes were currently occurring in Jiao Chong's body. His scales began to fall off before new scales grew out, his flesh becoming firmer as well. Electricity unceasingly leapt about his entire body as a pair of massive wings even sprouted. Most importantly, his aura was currently skyrocketing. From this, he is going to break through into the 4th level of the Nether Passage stage in a single go. Ling Mutian's eyes lit up. This time he had come for the sake of breaking through as well. However, in order to help Jiao Chong, he had yet to undergo the tempering of a single bolt of heavenly thunder. If Jiao Chong broke through and successfully transformed into a dragon, it would probably not be a problem for him to take on the 5 of them alone. Jiao Chong's aura was still skyrocketing as his dragonization had yet to complete. However, at this moment, some activity drew the attention of Ling Mutian and the others. Swiveling his head, Ling Mutian discovered that the newcomer was actually Yixian. It's this kid. Ling Mutian did not make any movements at first. However, seeing Yixian rush straight towards Jiao Chong, he reacted as well. Not good, this kid wants to interrupt his dragonization. Stop him. Hearing this, Gu Han and Su Liang's expressions changed as well, and they attacked together. Their mission was to help Jiao Chong kill this powerful Thunder Roar dragon. Although they had already completed their mission, what if Jiao Chong's dragonization was interrupted and they were blamed for it? Kid, I know you have a grudge with Jiao Chong, but this Thunder Roar dragon was killed by us. You should leave. Gu Han shouted at Yixian. The strong deserve the share. If you don't dodge, I'll beat you up. Yixian didn't say anything else and directly went forward to welcome him. Behind him were 7 golden dragons. Left azure dragon stretches its claws. 8th move of the 8 moves, leaderless dragons. Yixian executed the last move, and the 8th heavenly dragon appeared. Since you don't have eyes, then I don't mind teaching you a lesson. Guhan's eyes shone brightly. At the same time, Su Liang attacked as well. Both of them were at the 3rd level of the Nether Passage realm. It was a little embarrassing for them to team up against a 2nd level Nether Passage realm martial artist, but they were prepared to team up just in case. However, when they exchanged blows with Yixian, they realized that there was a huge difference between them and Yixian. After all, Yixian had already been tempered by the heavenly lightning, while they had only received 1 or 2 bolts. Yixian's soul strength had already surpassed theirs. Bang! In just one move, Guhan and Su Liang, both at the 3rd level of the Nether Passage realm, were sent flying. So strong! In the sky, Ling Mutian's heart trembled. He said to the 2 Ling family geniuses behind him, "You 2 go as well." Yes. The 2 nodded and went up to greet him. Right now it was 4 against 1. For 3rd level Nether Passage realm martial artists fighting Yixian, a 2nd level Nether Passage realm martial artist. If word got out, people would die of laughter. But in this situation, even 4 of them were probably not Yixian's match. Boom! 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 For 3rd level Nether Passage realm martial artists working together couldn't do anything to Yixian. They were even beaten back by Yixian. For pieces of trash can't beat him even when working together. In the sky, Ling Mutian muttered in his heart and then charged down explosively. If he didn't take down Yixian, it wouldn't be good if he disturbed Jiao Chong. After all, Jiao Chong had promised to give him 20,000 inner demon pills. Right now it was 5 great geniuses working together. Seeing Ling Mutian come down, Yixian's expression changed. Ling Mutian's strength was not just a little bit stronger than Jiao Chong's from before. Although it was his first time seeing Ling Mutian, he had heard Ling Xiao boast before. He just didn't know if it was true. "Come at me!" Yixian shouted loudly. Now he was going to go all out. However, his goal wasn't to kill Ling Mutian's group of 5, but to collect the Thunder Roar Dragon's corpse. Therefore, it was fine as long as he kept the 5 of them busy. Have a taste of this move. Yixian's eyes flickered. He suddenly channeled his true qi and 10,000 mammoths' power to form a lightning spear. Heavenly Thunder Combat Halberd? Everyone was shocked. Right at this moment. Chapter 1163. Heavenly Lightning Domain, go to hell. Yixian suddenly stabbed the Heavenly Lightning Combat Halberd into the ground. In an instant, countless bolts of lightning entered the bodies of Ling Mutian and the others. The 5 of them hadn't been tempered by heavenly lightning many times, so their resistance to lightning was extremely low. They were instantly paralyzed and couldn't move. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Yixian quickly rushed out. Not good. Ling Mutian's face darkened, but he was paralyzed and couldn't move, so he naturally couldn't stop Yixian. But when Yixian broke through Ling Mutian's group of 5, roar! A deafening roar rang out, followed by another flash of lightning. The one who let out this roar was Jiao Chong, who just succeeded in transforming into a dragon. Damn, I was one step too slow. Yixian raised an eyebrow, but his target was the corpse of the Thunder Roar Dragon. However, when he approached, Jiao Chong kept the Thunder Roaring Dragon's corpse into his interspatial ring. Kid, you're walking right into a trap. Jiao Chong's main body spoke, his dragon eyes glaring angrily at Yixian. 4th level of the Nether Passage realm? Yixian couldn't help but click his tongue. Jiao Chong's current aura had already reached the 4th level of the Nether Passage realm, and he was in his main body. His strength was probably not to be underestimated. If it was a one-on-one battle, Yixian wouldn't take him seriously, but don't forget that Ling Mutian and the other 3 3rd-level Nether Passage realm experts were behind him. If he was surrounded, he'd probably die 9 times out of 10. Go. Yixian made a prompt decision and immediately turned to leave. Kid, since you're here, then stay. Jiao Chong's main body roared, lightning flashing on his body. These were heavenly lightning formed by the power of 10,000 elephants, which struck straight at Yixian. Boom! 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 Yixian had no choice but to use the thunder armor, because it had an inexplicable resistance to lightning strikes. What he wanted now was to lure Jiao Chong away. If Ling Mutian and the others didn't follow, then he could kill Jiao Chong. At this moment, Ling Mutian and the others looked at Jiao Chong, who had successfully transformed into a dragon and was chasing after Yixian. They all revealed a trace of pity. Yixian's talent was indeed not bad, as he had been able to intimidate the 5 of them all by himself. If he were to mature in the future, he would be a great battle force of the Heavenly Thunder Hall. Unfortunately, what did this have to do with them? Jiao Chong has broken through to the 4th level of the Nether Passage realm and successfully transformed into a dragon. This brat is dead for sure. Let's go and accept the heavenly lightning striking the body. Ling Mutian shook his head and left in the opposite direction. In his heart, Yixian was already a dead man. All right. Everyone nodded and left one after another. There was only 1 day left, which was more than enough time for them. As Yixian evaded the attacks of the heavenly lightning, he used his eye of perception to detect that Ling Mutian and the others were not pursuing him. This was exactly what he wanted. At the same time, he also knew that this Blackwater Thunder Dragon behind him was currently toying with him. Brat, aren't you very arrogant, actually daring to interrupt my dragon transformation ceremony? Run some more. Jiao Chong's voice resounded unceasingly. He had already finished enduring the tempering of the heavenly lightning, just that he had not successfully transformed into a dragon. Fortunately, he had heard that there was a thunder-roaring dragon in the Heavenly Thunder Forbidden Land earlier, thus wanting to use its essence blood to stimulate the dragon bloodline within his body. Flood dragons actually still possess the bloodline of dragons within their bodies, just that it was extremely thin. It just so happened that the thunder-roaring dragon and the Blackwater Thunder Flood Dragon were of similar attributes. After absorbing the essence blood of the thunder-roaring dragon, Jiao Chong had successfully transformed into a dragon. If he completely refined the essence blood he had just absorbed, his strength would increase yet again. This talent already surpassed the past geniuses of the Heavenly Thunder Hall. TCH, I'll turn you into dragon slices in a while. Yixian's eyes flickered. Behind him, Jiao Chong was also still adapting to his strength. Thus he was constantly using heavenly lightning to chase Yixian away, enjoying this very much. When he was done playing, it would be Yixian's time of death. The two swiftly left that area from earlier. Left Azure Dragon stretching Claw 8 stances. As Yixian ran, he attempted to obstruct Jiao Chong with his golden heavenly dragon. Of course, he did not think that this would be able to injure Jiao Chong, merely exhausting the latter's true chi. Brat, it's no use. The difference in strength between us is too great. You will definitely die today. Jiao Chong laughed coldly, his tone extremely confident. If a normal person saw this, they would probably think the same as Ling Mutian's group of 5. Yixian was dead for sure. However, Yixian did not think so. This Jiao Chong was currently slowly walking into his trap. With Jiao Chong chasing after him, his aura exploding, Yixian did not encounter any heavenly connection beasts blocking his path. Soon Jiao Chong adapted to his strength and was satisfied with his playful nature. Next, it was Yixian's time of death. All right, brat. Accept the punishment of heavenly lightning. Jiao Chong suddenly roared at the sky. A surge of true chi and 10,000 mammoth strength gathered in his mouth, then fiercely spat out a mouthful of dragon breath at Yixian. This dragon breath was not the same as other giant dragons. This dragon breath was completely made of lightning, and its power was even comparable to the mid-level ethereal passage ability, Heavenly Thunder Halberd. Since you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish. Yixian's eyes suddenly flickered. Without turning his head, he directly opened a void gate in front of him. Then he did his best to avoid it. Boom! The giant dragon breath passed through the void gate and reappeared in another place. What? Jiao Chong was shocked. What kind of technique was this? How could it absorb an attack? No, it was not absorbing. At this moment he suddenly felt a chill at the back of his head. An aura suddenly appeared. Boom! A bolt of lightning struck Jiao Chong's back, and it just so happened that this bolt of lightning was unleashed by Jiao Chong himself. Earlier on, Yixian had been constantly using void positioning. That was why when the dragon breath entered the void gate, it appeared behind Jiao Chong. This is impossible. Jiao Chong's dragon body trembled in disbelief. Fortunately, he was a black water thunder dragon and was resistant to heavenly lightning, not to mention that it was an attack he had unleashed. Even so, he was seriously injured by his own attack and his aura instantly dropped. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Yixian quickly formed the heavenly thunder halberd and viciously swung it at Jiao Chong's abdomen. Whoosh! A cold light flashed and directly sank into Jiao Chong's body, piercing through it. Ha ha ha, do you think this move will work on me? Jiao Chong was immune to most of the lightning. The injury he suffered was only a hole in his body. This could only be blamed on Yixian's low level and 10,000 mammoth strength. Otherwise, he would have electrocuted Jiao Chong to death. Isn't it easy to deal with you? Yixian's lips curled slightly. This time he was going to look for Jiao Chong. Return of all swords. Chapter 1164. What? Jiao Chong was frightened by this scene. Previously, he felt that the heaven-shaking sword was extraordinary, and wanted to kill Yixian to seize the treasure. Now that he saw so many heaven-shaking giant swords, a sense of crisis rose in his heart. Destroy for me! Jiao Chong's entire body erupted with countless lightning, shattering the heaven-shaking giant swords around him. However, due to the large number, he was still blasted to the ground by the heaven-shaking sword. Bang! 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 Jiao Chong's body was much bigger than the heaven-shaking giant swords. Fortunately, there were many heaven-shaking giant swords. When Jiao Chong was smashed to the ground, the heaven-shaking giant swords were like falling stones, ruthlessly smashing down. Hiss! 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 One heaven-shaking giant sword after another pierced Jiao Chong's body, causing him to roar towards the sky in pain. Stinking brat! I will definitely kill you. However, the heaven-shaking giant sword's sealing ability was very strong. In the blink of an eye, only Jiao Chong's head was left outside. Sai, I originally wanted to spare your life. Who asked you to court death? Yixian walked over with a harmless look. Don't be hypocritical. If you want to kill me, then kill me. My Black Water Lightning Devouring clan will not let you go. Jiao Chong shouted angrily. All right, since you are in such a hurry to die, then I will naturally. Before Yixian could finish speaking, Jiao Chong opened his mouth and spat out another lightning dragon breath. You still don't understand the situation? I missed the first time, will I miss the second time? Yixian once again opened up a void door. And this dragon breath was once again absorbed by Jiao Chong. Roar! Jiao Chong roared towards the sky, the pain was heart-wrenching. However, the moment he opened his mouth, a silver slash entered his bloody mouth. Nirvanic slash. Hiss! With a continuous crisp sound, Jiao Chong's entire head was chopped off, and he instantly died. Because Jiao Chong was from the demon clan, his corpse was of no use to Yixian. Therefore, Yixian directly stored it in the planting space. With the current level of the planted space, living people could not enter but dead people could. Yixian wanted to use Jiao Chong's body as fertilizer for the heavenly treasure tree to promote its growth. As for the carcass of the Thunder Roar Dragon, Yixian decided to devour the beast's soul and give the carcass to the heavenly treasure tree as fertilizer. Ling Mutian and the others all knew that the Thunder Roar Dragon's corpse was in Jiao Chong's hands. If he took out the Thunder Roar Dragon's corpse to exchange for the Heart Devil pill, wouldn't that be admitting that he killed Jiao Chong? There's nothing in the interspatial ring. You're the young master of the Black Water Thunder Flood Dragon clan. Yixian sighed. However, he also knew that the rich ones were only the Black Water Lightning Flood Dragon clan, not Jiao Chong. Now that Jiao Chong was dead and he had accepted the tempering of the 9 bolts of lightning, the next step was to start earning money. Their targets were the heaven-reaching beasts in the heavenly thunder forbidden land. However, just as he was about to leave, young master, there is a dragon pearl in that Thunder Roar Dragon's body. Luolua's voice suddenly sounded in his mind. Dragon pearl? Yixian was slightly surprised. Something like a dragon pearl was rare. He sank his mind into the planting space and saw that Luolua was holding a blue electric ball in her hand. Presumably, this was the dragon pearl. Ding, the dragon pearl can be used as the artifact spirit of a magic treasure. The system suddenly reminded him carefully. Magic treasure? Hearing this, Yixian raised his eyebrows. He remembered that refining a magic treasure required an artifact spirit and an artifact spirit. An artifact spirit was something with consciousness. However, since the system reminded him like this, then the dragon pearl could be used as an artifact spirit. As long as he found a carrier, he could refine another magic treasure. He quickly looked at the magic treasure system and found that this thunder dragon pearl could be refined into a magic treasure called the thunder pearl. The effect was very simple. It was to throw it out and explode. This magic treasure is easy to refine, but my cultivation level rises quickly, so I need to sign a mutual growth contract. Yixian sank his mind into the exchange system again. Wei Zhentian had already signed a mutual growth contract with him. As long as he devoured ores or weapons, Wei Zhentian would also increase in strength. A mutual growth contract required a single devour point to be exchanged for. Currently, Yixian did not have any devour points, so he could only put it aside. This thunder pearl is not bad. As long as it is refined into a magic treasure, it can be used countless times. At that time, it will become another trump card of mine. Yixian thought to himself. He only needed to ask someone from the Heavenly Thunder Hall to refine a thunder pearl. Thus, he decided to first refine a magic treasure before signing the contract. Refining a heaven-connecting artifact required money. Thus, Yixian had to start earning money, and then get someone to forge a mid-grade second-grade heaven-connecting artifact. With his current strength, there were already no humans or beasts in the Heavenly Thunder Forbidden Zone who could threaten him. Thus, he directly attacked from both sides, his main body and his clone killing together. The Heavenly Thunder Hall gave a benefit to the geniuses who entered the Heavenly Thunder Forbidden Zone, which was to exchange the corpses of heaven-connecting beasts for inner devil pills. As Yixian prepared to return to the entrance, he had already collected heaven-connecting beast corpses worth around 10,000 inner devil pills. Afterwards he left. Hey Yixian! As Yixian hurried back to the entrance of the Heavenly Thunder Forbidden Zone, he found that quite a few people had already exited. Seeing Yixian, Ling Xiao also hurriedly greeted him. However, amongst these people were Ling Mutian and the others who had assisted Jiao Chong in slaying the Thunder Roar Dragon that day. How is this possible? This brat is actually not dead? Ling Mutian and the others were all stunned. They had all thought that Yixian had already been slain by the 4th level of the Nether Passage stage Jiao Chong. Yet, Yixian had actually appeared before them alive and kicking. Could it be that Yixian had knelt down and begged for mercy, and then Jiao Chong had spared him? In their hearts, it was impossible for the 2nd level of the Nether Passage stage, Yixian, to defeat the 4th level of the Nether Passage stage Jiao Chong. Or could it be that Yixian had joined the Profound Water Thunder Devouring clan? This was indeed possible. However, Ling Mutian and the others definitely would not have thought that Yixian had already slain that Jiao Chong. This brat is rather lucky. Ling Mutian and the others did not mind, because 3 of them had already broken through to the 4th level of the Nether Passage stage. Besides Ling Mutian, there was also Gu Han and Su Liang. As for the other 2 of the Ling family, they had yet to break through. Ling Xiao, congratulations on breaking through. After glancing at Ling Mutian and the others, Yixian cupped his fists in greeting. Using this trip to the Heavenly Thunder Forbidden Zone, Ling Xiao had successfully broken through to the 3rd level of the Nether Passage stage. While Ling Yun had not, she would probably be soon. Haha, just lucky, just lucky. Ling Xiao broke into a grin. Seeing Yixian take it out, that elder Ling Chong also sighed in relief. He had still been afraid that Yixian had been killed by Jiao Chong. It seemed like he had worried too much. It will be time in another hour. We will return to the Heavenly Thunder Hall after that. Chapter 1165. Yes. Yixian nodded, then walked over. The Heavenly Connection beasts of the Heavenly Thunder Forbidden Lands all carried the lightning attribute, and were rather rare as well. Yixian passed over the prepared yin and yang ring. Receiving it, Elder Ling Chong exclaimed in shock. Not bad, not bad. There are 2 corpses of 3rd level Heavenly Connection beasts, a total of 13,000 inner devil pills. He did not waste words, directly retrieving a certain amount of inner devil pills for Yixian. Many thanks, Elder. Yixian thanked him, keeping the inner devil pills. When he returned to the Heavenly Thunder Hall, he would use these inner devil pills to get the Heavenly Thunder Hall's forging master to forge a Heavenly Connection artifact, then gather some materials to forge the Thunder Rumbling Pearl artifact. Very quickly an hour passed. During this hour a few more people came out, but what puzzled Ling Mutian and the others was that Jiao Chong was still nowhere to be seen. Before Jiao Chong had successfully transformed into a dragon, he should have already been tempered by the heavenly thunder. Logically speaking, he should not have been late. But now why was he still not out? This Jiao Chong, is he unceasingly slaughtering heavenly connection beasts before exchanging them for inner devil pills for us? Now that he is late, Elder Ling Chong will definitely not let him do so. Ling Mutian thought to himself. Alright, the time is up. There are still 6 people who have not come out. Let them return to the Heavenly Thunder Hall on their own. Elder Ling Chong roared before leaping onto the back of the Thunderbolt Eagle, the others not daring to tarry as they followed suit. The Thunderbolt Eagle took off, shooting towards the Heavenly Thunder Hall. Before leaving the Heavenly Thunder Forbidden Lands, however, that Jiao Chong still had not appeared. This Elder Ling Chong also found it rather strange as he unceasingly appraised Yi Xian, yet was unable to discover anything out of the ordinary. Jiao Yang, why hasn't Jiao Chong come out? Ling Chong suddenly asked. This Jiao Yang was also a genius of the Profound Water Thunder Wyrm clan, and was also the only other demon in the Heavenly Thunder Forbidden Lands party apart from Jiao Chong this time. Elder Ling Chong had seen Jiao Yang leave together with Jiao Chong back then. I met senior apprentice brother Jiao Chong in the wee hours. He has already successfully transformed into a dragon, having broken through to the 4th level of the Nether Passage realm, and is currently consolidating his foundation. Jiao Yang said truthfully. He really succeeded in transforming into a dragon, and broke through to the 4th level of the Nether Passage? Ling Chong narrowed his eyes and nodded slightly. However, what he didn't know was that Jiao Yang was already under Yi Xian's control. Everything he said was a lie. He was trying to absolve Yi Xian. Yesterday, Jiao Chong had tried to kill Yi Xian, but Yi Xian had not died. Now that Jiao Yang had met Jiao Chong in the wee hours of the morning, it proved that Jiao Chong was still alive. When Ling Mutian and the others heard this, they were certain that Yi Xian was really begging for mercy. Otherwise, how could he have survived? Now they were just waiting for Jiao Chong to return to the Heavenly Thunder Hall, before giving them the promised reward. Very quickly, they returned to the Heavenly Thunder Hall. He's back. He's finally back. Outside the Heavenly Thunder Hall, a group of people were waiting. The Thunderhawk landed, and everyone came forward to welcome it. Where's Jiao Chong? The gray-clothed elder from the mysterious Water Lightning Flood Dragon clan glanced around, but did not find Jiao Chong's figure, and hurriedly asked. Grand Elder, he has already successfully transformed into a dragon, also breaking through to the 4th level of the Nether Passage stage. He is currently consolidating his cultivation base in the Heavenly Thunder Forbidden Land. Jiao Yang replied once more. He was also a member of the Black Water Lightning Flood Dragon clan, so the Black Water Lightning Flood Dragon clan members naturally believed his words. Successfully transformed into a dragon? Good, truly great. From today onwards, our mysterious Water Lightning Flood Dragon clan can be called the Mysterious Water Lightning Dragon clan. The gray-clothed elder was extremely happy. Now, his gaze suddenly fell on Yi Xian, and he was rather surprised as well. According to Jiao Chong's personality, if he had encountered Yi Xian would definitely have died. Still, it didn't matter whether Yi Xian was alive or not. This was of no importance to them. On the other side, after hearing the news that Jiao Chong had successfully transformed into a dragon, the people of the Ling family also frowned slightly, but did not say anything. Alright, everyone go back and rest. Make use of this chance to quickly enter secluded cultivation and strive to improve further. Elder Ling Chong shouted. Yes. They all nodded, leaving one after another. Yi Xian also returned to his lodgings, but left very quickly, directly heading for the Heavenly Thunder Hall's artifact forging hall. The Heavenly Thunder Hall was also skilled in artifact forging. The heavenly connecting artifacts they forged were slightly better than those of other places, at the same time also containing the attribute of thunder, their offensive power greater. After entering the artifact forging hall, Yi Xian said to a disciple, This senior apprentice brother, I would like to forge a mid-grade 2nd grade heavenly connecting artifact. Mid-grade 2nd grade? This Heavenly Thunder Hall disciple raised his head, glancing around before saying, Elder Ling Yao is currently free. He felt that Yi Xian was rather unfamiliar to him, but being able to forge a mid-grade 2nd grade heavenly connecting artifact, he must definitely be very wealthy. After all, most people would just go straight to the point, not going to custom make them. Alright, many thanks, senior apprentice brother. Yixian thanked him before heading towards Elder Ling Yao's lodgings. While he could forge as well, a forging blueprint would be too expensive. Thus, he had come to the Heavenly Thunder Hall's artifact forging hall. He only wanted to forge an ordinary heavenly connecting artifact. It was not very complicated, and any random elder would probably be able to forge it. Very quickly, Yixian found this Elder Ling Yao. Oh, it's you? This Elder Ling Yao was in the midst of forging a heavenly connecting artifact. After seeing Yixian, he too was stunned for a moment. He had also just happened to be present during the examination that day, thus recognizing Yixian. Greetings, Elder. Yixian hurriedly greeted him. It looks like you have already returned from the Heavenly Thunder Forbidden Grounds. What, you want to forge a weapon? Elder Ling Yao asked. Yes, but my request is very simple. Yixian nodded before handing over a blueprint. Glancing at it, Elder Ling Yao raised his brows, asking, "That's it?" Yes, Yixian replied. This blueprint was the simplest one that Elder Ling Yao had ever seen. It was just a round ball on which sharp spikes could extend and contract around it, resembling a sea urchin. As for the rest, there was nothing else. You want me to forge something like this as well? Elder Ling Yao was rather displeased. This was a little too much of a waste. This thing is very important to this little one. I ask for Elder's help. I have already prepared the materials, Yixian said. Since you have prepared the materials yourself, I'll take 5,000 inner devil pills then. While Elder Ling Yao felt that this was a little unreliable, he would not reject money. All right. Yixian nodded, directly taking out 5,000 inner devil pills and handing it over along with the materials. Something like this can be forged in 2 days. Come and get it tomorrow, Elder Ling Yao said. All right. Yixian responded before directly leaving. As long as this artifact was completed, Yixian would be able to forge the rumbling thunder pearl for himself. Chapter 1166. After entrusting the task to Elder Ling Yao, Yixian returned to his own residence. Very quickly 2 days passed. Yixian returned to the Heavenly Thunder Hall's artifact forging hall. Kid, your item has been forged. Take it. Seeing Yixian return, Elder Ling Yao tossed him a yin and yang ring. Within the ring was a purplish-blue sphere that was half the size of a basketball. There were strange patterns on its surface. Yixian took it out and activated it with the power of all manifestations. In the next instant, the sphere emitted a clang as countless spikes extended from it. These spikes were something that Yixian used to confuse others, making them think that this heavenly artifact was extremely ordinary. Thank you, Elder. Yixian thanked him and quickly left. Looking at his departing figure, Ling Yao shook his head helplessly. Previously, when Yixian said that this item was very important to him, Ling Yao didn't take it seriously at all. As Ling Yao saw it, this item was completely useless. After leaving the artifact forging hall, Yixian immersed his consciousness into the artifact system. Ding! Will the host begin forging the artifact Thunder Pearl? Yes. Ding! Artifact Thunder Pearl has been successfully forged. The system notification sounded. After hearing this, Yixian took out the Thunder Pearl from the Devouring space. This artifact's appearance didn't change much. However, when Yixian used the Eye of Revelation, he discovered that the lightning-type Dragon Pearl had entered the interior of the Thunder Pearl. At the same time, this Thunder Pearl also had 2 abilities. Thunder Dragon Roar cooldown time, 1 day. Heavenly Lightning Apocalypse cooldown time, 1 day. Yixian didn't expect that there would be an additional ability, which was the Thunder Dragon Roar. At the same time, this Thunder Pearl was equivalent to the 3rd level of the Nether Passage realm, a level higher than Wei Zhentian. This Elder Ling Yao is really something. He gave me 5,000 inner devil pills, and he still isn't refining properly. Yixian looked a little helpless, not knowing whether to laugh or cry. At the 3rd level of the Nether Passage realm, it meant that the Thunder Pearl was only a low-grade divine artifact of the 2nd level. Once it reached the 4th level of the Nether Passage realm, it would become a mid-grade divine artifact of the 2nd level. In other words, Elder Ling Yao was slacking off. Fortunately, the Thunder Pearl had one more growth attribute than Wei Zhentian. Wei Zhentian could be improved by relying on weapons and ores, so could the Thunder Pearl. At the same time, the Thunder Pearl could also be improved by relying on thunder-attributed items, making it easier than Wei Zhentian. However, what Yixian wanted to do the most now was to find a place to test the power of the Thunder Dragon's roar and the heavenly lightning devastation. Immediately, he left and prepared to go outside to try it out. But at this moment, someone suddenly walked towards him. "Are you Yixian?" A strange voice rang out. Yixian looked up and realized that he had seen this person before. He remembered that this middle-aged man was part of the Blackwater Lightning Flood Dragons team. He was probably a member of the Jiao family. "Is something the matter?" Yixian asked with a frown. "Did you see Jiao Chong in the Forbidden Land of Heavenly Lightning?" The middle-aged man didn't beat around the bush and asked directly. "I did. At that time I angered senior brother Jiao Chong. After he taught me a lesson, he forgave me and let me go," Yixian answered with a nod. "Let you go?" The middle-aged man didn't believe it. Based on his understanding of Jiao Chong, there was no way Jiao Chong would let Yixian go, unless the Ling family was present at that time. Yixian looked at the middle-aged man, thinking that the Blackwater Lightning Flood Dragons family must be suspicious because Jiao Chong still hadn't returned. "Senior, if there's nothing else, this junior will take his leave first." Yixian cupped his fists at the middle-aged man and left immediately. The middle-aged man frowned. Jiao Chong hadn't returned yet, so he guessed that Jiao Chong was still consolidating his cultivation. However, he just felt that things were a little strange. Previously, when he had gone to look for Ling Mutian and the others, he had also understood that Yixian had appeared at that time. He also knew that Yixian had actually broken through the encirclement of Ling Mutian's group of 5. In the end, Jiao Chong had succeeded in transforming into a dragon and began pursuing Yixian. Afterwards, Ling Mutian and the others didn't know, because they were certain that Yixian would be killed by Jiao Chong. "There's something strange about this kid," the middle-aged man thought to himself. Seeing that Yixian was about to leave, he wanted to follow him. With his strength, following a person wasn't a problem at all. After all, he was at the 4th level of the Nether Passage stage. Very quickly, Yixian left the Heavenly Thunder Hall, heading towards a mountain range near it. There were quite a few heavenly connection beasts here that he could experiment with. However, not long after he left, he sensed an aura. "It's that Blackwater Lightning Flood Dragon expert. He's following me?" Yixian's eyes narrowed as he thought to himself. The two maintained a very ingenious distance. Yixian's spiritual sense was unable to find this middle-aged man, but the middle-aged man's spiritual sense encompassed Yixian's. Therefore, as the middle-aged man saw it, he was following him perfectly. However, what he didn't know was that Yixian's eye of perception was 3 times more powerful than his spiritual sense. Could it be that he didn't find Jiao Chong and guessed that I killed him? A sinister light flashed in Yixian's eyes as killing intent stirred within him. He decided that he would act as soon as he entered the mountain range. It just so happened that this middle-aged man could experiment with his rumbling thunder orb. Half a day later. "It's about time. There's no one here. Capture this kid." The middle-aged man widened his eyes, beginning to secretly condense his true qi and the power of all manifestations. His objective was to capture Yixian, but once he did, he had no intention of letting Yixian leave. After all, this matter couldn't be leaked. However, just as he was about to act, Yixian up ahead suddenly stopped. He stopped? The middle-aged man's heart trembled, thinking that Yixian had discovered him. However, he recalled that he was 2 realms higher than Yixian, so that shouldn't be the case. Since that was the case, he might as well take this opportunity to approach and launch a sneak attack under the pretext of asking about something. Previously, Ling Mutian had said that Yixian's strength wasn't that simple since he had broken through the encirclement of 5 people, so he had to be careful. "Little brother, wait a moment," the middle-aged man shouted. Yixian turned around and pretended to ask, "So it's senior. What's the matter?" "I have some things here that I need to ask in detail," the middle-aged man said as he approached. "All right, let's go over there." Yixian nodded, looking as if he didn't suspect anything at all, then turned around. "Good chance." The middle-aged man's eyes lit up, and he immediately attacked. Sky-tearing claw. A black claw appeared, ready to grab Yixian, but before that, Yixian dodged it. What? The middle-aged man was slightly surprised, because he was launching a sneak attack. Senior, what are you doing? Yixian pretended to be shocked and asked. Chapter 1167. Humph! You want to kill me? Not so easy. Yixian snorted and put on the glorious golden armor. At the same time, a sword and a ball were thrown at the middle-aged man. This kid has some tricks up his sleeve. Get lost. The middle-aged man did not care. In his opinion, sword-wielding skills were all unorthodox. However, when he was about to use the all-creations force to knock the thunder pearl away, the pearl suddenly extended countless spikes and pierced through the all-creations force. Elder Ling Yao did not go all out in terms of forging, but he strengthened the thunder pearl in other aspects. For example, the spikes could effectively destroy the all-creations force. The thunder pearl dispersed the all-creations force and attacked the middle-aged man. Interesting. The middle-aged man did not think much of it. He was indeed careless just now. This time he used more all-creations force. However, at this moment, Yixian's eyes flashed in the distance. Thunder Dragon Roar. He moved his mind. In the next moment, the thunder pearl surged with the power of thunder and lightning, and then condensed into a blue sky dragon. Roar! The blue sky dragon opened its big mouth, and a dangerous aura was released. What? The middle-aged man was shocked. Only then did he realize that this pearl was not as simple as he thought. Boom! The thunder dragon roar collided with the all-creations force of the middle-aged man and easily defeated it. The thick electric snake wrapped around the middle-aged man and a burnt smell spread. The middle-aged man's face was gloomy. At this critical moment, he used the thunder armor and a large amount of genuine qi, and all creation's force. However, the thunder dragon roar was extremely powerful. Countless electric snakes rushed into the middle-aged man's body and paralyzed him. Fortunately, the middle-aged man was a Blackwater Thunder Devouring and was naturally resistant to the thunder attribute. Stinking brat, I'm going to kill you. The middle-aged man's skin was burnt in many places and his insides were in a mess. After cursing, he changed back to his original form while enduring the thunder dragon roar. Roar! A roar similar to a dragon's roar spread. The moment the middle-aged man changed back to his original form, the thunder dragon roar also finished erupting. After transforming, the middle-aged man still had many injuries on his body. Many of his dragon scales had disappeared, and some of his flesh was badly mangled. These were all caused by that move just now. If it had been a normal human at the 4th level of the Nether Passage realm, they would have already died from that attack. However, the middle-aged man was a demon and a Blackwater Thunder Devouring at that, so he had survived. At this time, the middle-aged man flashed and directly grabbed the thunder pearl, holding it in his hand. This thunder pearl had caused him to be covered in cuts and bruises, so he wanted to crush it. Too naive. In the distance, Yixian shook his head. Heavenly Thunder Annihilation. The moment the middle-aged man grabbed the thunder pearl with his dragon claw, the thunder pearl once again emitted countless bolts of lightning, followed by a rumbling sound. Boom! A power that was even stronger than the thunder dragon's roar exploded out. The middle-aged man cried out in pain as his entire dragon claw was blown apart. There was a large hole in his dragon body, and it was almost disconnected from his lower body. The middle-aged man fell into Yixian's trap one after another, and the anger in his heart had already reached its peak. However, Yixian had already finished testing the power of the 2 new skills. Now, it was time to send the middle-aged man on his way. The power of the Dharma treasure is indeed not bad. Yixian was very satisfied. He looked at the Blackwater Thunder Devouring, who was shocked and on the verge of death, and formed the Heavenly Thunder Battle Halberd. Whoosh! The Heavenly Thunder Battle Halberd pierced through the air with a sharp sound. No! The Blackwater Thunder Devouring roared at the sky. How could he have imagined that he would die at the hands of Yixian? Poof! The Heavenly Thunder Battle Halberd sank into the Blackwater Thunder Devouring's body, but it did not cause a fatal blow. However, after the Heavenly Thunder Battle Halberd, there was a silver slash. Rip! The Blackwater Thunder Devouring's head was chopped off, and his headless corpse fell from the sky. Yixian hurried over and collected the corpse along with the interspatial ring. Ding! Wei Zhentian broke through. The system notified. Currently, Wei Zhentian was at the third level of the nether passage stage like the thunder orb. However, Yixian was still at the second level of the nether passage stage, still a bit off from the third level. With this thunder orb, Yixian's strength had also increased by quite a bit. If this thunder orb was used in conjunction with the spirit sword formation, the effects would definitely be great. After testing the power of the thunder orb, Yixian returned to the Heavenly Thunder Hall, carefully planning his next move. On the way back, Luoluo had also broken through to the second level of the nether passage stage in the planting space. Now they could both contend against fourth-level nether passage experts. If they joined forces, they would be virtually invincible against fourth-level nether passage experts, and could even battle fifth-level nether passage experts. However, when he returned to the Heavenly Thunder Hall, he found Ling Xiao waiting for him outside his lodgings. Yixian, you've returned. I have something to tell you. Ling Xiao went up to him. What is it? Yixian asked rather quizzically. It's regarding me and my younger sister being hunted down. Ling Xiao said. Previously, my father sent people out to investigate. With this investigation, they discovered a great scheme. As it turns out, there were quite a few capture missions on the Underworld's mission board. The targets were all blood siblings or siblings who were close in age. Oh! Yixian raised his brows, suddenly feeling a sense of déjà vu. Blood siblings? At this moment, Yixian could not help but think of the Yin-Yang ancestor. This matter might be related to the Yin-Yang ancestor. And then, Yixian continued asking. A few pairs of siblings have also gone missing in our Heavenly Thunder Hall, including the grandson and granddaughter of an elder. They have probably all been captured. That is why this time our Ling family is preparing to send people to investigate, said Ling Xiao. I am rather interested in this matter as well. I can help. Yixian narrowed his eyes, asking, where are you going to investigate? This mission seems to have first appeared in the Black Chaos Corner. That is why our Ling family has already sent people there. If anyone can find the mastermind behind these missions, they will be rewarded with 100,000 inner demon pills, replied Ling Xiao. 100,000 inner demon pills was not a small amount. If it were given to Yixian, he could at least break through to the fourth level of the Nether Passage realm. However, Yixian's focus was not on this reward, but rather the mastermind behind the mission. This matter might really be related to the Yin-Yang ancestor. Alright, then I will also go take a look at the Black Chaos Corner. 100,000 inner demon pills is very tempting, Yixian grinned, making Ling Xiao think that he was going there for the reward. I originally wanted to go as well. However, because I am on the Underworld's assassin list, going would be walking right into a trap. I can only obediently stay in the Heavenly Thunder Hall for this period of time. Ling Xiao sighed helplessly. He had just returned from the Black Chaos Corner. That place was very much to his liking. It was just a pity that he would not be able to go there in the near future. Once this matter is settled, you can leave. Chapter 1168. In Yixian's estimation, Patriarch Yin-Yang was at least in the Nirvana realm, and he was just in the Nether Passage realm. There was still the Fulfillment realm and the Fragmentation realm behind him. The difference between their realms was too great, so he felt that it was unlikely that Patriarch Yin-Yang was the culprit. However, as long as there was a suspicious clue, even if the probability was only 1%, he would continue to investigate. Yixian's top priority was to ask Ling Xiao about the chaotic Black Corner. After all, Ling Xiao had trained there before. At the same time, somewhere in the Heavenly Thunder Hall, a group of experts from the Black Water Lightning Flood Dragon family gathered together. I have already asked Elder Ling Hongsheng, who is close to my Black Water Thunder Flood Dragon clan, to go to the Heavenly Thunder Forbidden Land to investigate, but I did not find any trace of Jiao Chong. The gray-robed old man said. Could it be that Jiao Chong has already left the Heavenly Thunder Forbidden Land? I remember that those who enter the Heavenly Thunder Forbidden Land all have a thunder-breaking stone. Even if they are delayed in returning, they can still leave on their own. A white-haired old man said. No, according to what Elder Ling Hongsheng said, Jiao Chong might already be dead. The gray-robed elder shook his head. What? Dead? Once those words were spoken, the entire crowd was shocked. Elder Ling Hongsheng, in the depths of the Forbidden Land of Heavenly Thunder, near the place where the Thunder Roar Dragon was killed, another battle site was found. There were traces of dragon blood and giant dragon flesh there. I'm afraid it was Jiao Chong. The gray-robed elder continued. But Zhao Yang said that he saw Zhao Chong in the wee hours of the morning, when he left the heavenly thunder forbidden land. Someone asked. That's right. That's why I'm guessing that Zhao Yang has already been bribed. The gray-robed elder nodded. This? Everyone was in disbelief. The Blackwater Thunder Flood Dragon family was very united. But now there was actually a traitor. Everyone did not dare to believe it. In order to prove it, I found a person who is proficient in the soul and prepared to search his memory. The gray-robed old man continued. What? Memory search? Everyone was shocked. Memory search. At the very least, the soul will be severely injured. At the very most, the soul will be destroyed. However, in order to find out what happened, Zhao Yang must be sacrificed. The gray-robed elder continued. Great Elder, are we not going to wait any longer? Someone suggested. Yes. Instead of searching Zhao Yang's memories, why don't we use it on that brat? That's why Elder Zhao Kongtai has already gone to follow that brat, preparing to secretly capture him. The gray-robed elder nodded. But just as he finished speaking, someone suddenly barged in. It was Zhao Lai, who had been defeated by Yi Xian back then. Great Elder, that brat has returned. Zhao Lai hastily said. What? Everyone present was shocked. Didn't they say that Elder Zhao Kongtai had gone to capture Yi Xian? Why was Yi Xian suddenly back? Could it be that Elder Zhao Kongtai had failed? Elder Zhao Kongtai is at the 4th level of the Nether Passage stage, while that kid is only at the 2nd level of the Nether Passage stage. If he fails, perhaps he encountered a core disciple of the Heavenly Thunder Hall on the way. If he dies, the gray-robed old man muttered with a solemn expression. Dead? When everyone heard this, they could not help but shudder. If Elder Zhao Kongtai had been killed, then Yi Xian would have the ability to kill Zhao Chong. Great Elder, that brat is preparing to go out again, and to the Black Chaos Corner to investigate the case of the recently missing siblings. Zhao Lai continued. Going out again, huh? The gray-robed old man fell into deep thought. Great Elder, let me go this time, said an elder as he stood up. He was an expert at the 5th level of the Nether Passage stage. Dealing with Yi Xian would be a piece of cake. That won't do. I'm afraid that the Ling family will find out. We can't do it ourselves. The gray-robed old man shook his head. Then who will do it? The underworld. The gray-robed old man replied. Recently, the underworld's people have switched to capturing people. Also, wasn't the most talented person in the history of the Heavenly Thunder Hall also assassinated by the underworld? Elder Zhao Konghai. Immediately go and issue a mission for the underworld's people to capture this brat. Good idea. That elder who had stood up nodded and immediately rushed out the door. The underworld was a super force that spread throughout the world. They had assassins from the manifestation realm to the nirvana realm. Of course, this area only had assassins of the manifestation realm and nether passage realm. Just as the Blackwater Thunder WRM clan was discussing, Yi Xian had already left the Heavenly Thunder Hall and was heading towards the Black Chaos Corner. According to Ling Xiao, this Black Chaos Corner was a place filled with crouching tigers and hidden dragons. It was said that even Fulfillment Realm experts had come here before. At the same time, the Black Chaos Corner was a place where crooks mixed in with the honest folk. There were many gangs and factions there. There was still some distance between the Heavenly Thunder Hall and the Black Chaos Corner. With Yi Xian's current speed, it would probably take him 2 days. However, before going to the Black Chaos Corner, Yi Xian wanted to raise his cultivation to the 3rd level of the Nether Passage realm. After all, that place was filled with crooks and honest folk with countless vicious people. If he wasn't careful, he would be consigned to eternal damnation. It just so happened that there was a Viper Valley on the way to the Black Chaos Corner. A large amount of poisonous creatures resided there, and Yi Xian just so happened to have the bloodline of the Divine Tree of Life. Thus it was quite a good place for him to train. After being nourished by the Heavenly Treasure Tree, the strange beasts in my planted space have all broken through to the 1st level of the Nether Passage realm. Moreover, they have multiplied quite a bit. Then, with the nourishment of the Heavenly Treasure Tree and my blood, they will quickly mature. If I release all of these strange beasts, it will be like a cheat to farm monsters. Yi Xian's eyes lit up. There were already over 10,000 strange beasts in the planted space that had reached the Nether Passage realm. This was an extremely terrifying army. Even if they swept through the entire Viper Valley, it would probably not be a problem. Immediately, Yixian headed for the Viper Valley, preparing to break through to the third level of the Nether Passage realm before heading to the Black Chaos Corner. It would only take him a day or two, but it would give him a great deal of protection. A day later, he arrived at this incomparably sinister Viper Valley. There were no birds or beasts here, only large amounts of poisonous fog. Ding! The host is immune to the poison. The system notified just as Yixian approached. There were too many poisonous creatures in the Viper Valley, and the poisonous fog would even spew out poisonous fog. Thus, those who entered had to take antidote pills, and they had to prepare a lot of them. However, antidote pills were not cheap things, and the Viper Valley was more dangerous than normal places. Thus, no one dared to come to the Viper Valley, or rather, no one was willing to come. Yixian did not even need to take antidote pills, and directly stepped into the Viper Valley. Under the eye of perception, there were quite a few poisonous creatures waiting for an opportunity to move, and they had already set their sights on Yixian. Megatron Thunderpearl, go! Yixian directly threw out the two transcendent artifacts. Megatron had its own consciousness, but the Thunderpearl did not, so he had to control it. This Thunderpearl was quite useful. It could release heavenly lightning attacks, and most importantly, it could attack groups of people without worrying about death. It was very much to Yixian's liking. Chapter 1169. Luo Luo, it's time for you to show off your skills. Yixian released Luo Luo. Luo Luo hadn't fought in a long time, so she could no longer hold back. 100-layer Demon Fox Doppelganger. The moment Luo Luo appeared, she took a high-grade detoxification pill and created 100 doppelgangers. Among these 100 doppelgangers, there were 60 true Qi doppelgangers and only 40 doppelgangers. It was extremely terrifying. With her help, Yixian's leveling speed greatly increased. As for the mutated beasts in the planting space, Yixian didn't release them, because they were also a trump card. Moreover, they would be even more frightening than 10,000 returning to Origin Sword, so he wouldn't use them if he could. Just like that, he started a massacre, and Viper Valley immediately stirred up a storm of blood. However, just as he was leveling up in Viper Valley, several figures quietly followed him. They were 3 assassins dressed in black. They had just accepted a mission from the underworld. I really don't understand. This brat's mission rating is actually 4 stars. He's only at the 2nd level of the Nether Passage realm. How can he have the strength of a 4th level Nether Passage realm expert? One of the assassins in black said disdainfully. Let's not talk about the mission rating first. This brat is very valuable. As long as we capture him alive, we'll actually get 30,000 inner demon pills. The 3 of us can split them equally. Although the 3 of us discovered this mission first, it's not unique. If you don't, others will see it and accept it. We need to move quickly. Looking at the direction, this brat seems to be heading to Viper Valley to train. Hurry, don't let him die there. The 3 assassins talked as they flew toward Viper Valley. Soon they arrived at Viper Valley. One of the assassins felt around on the ground and said, "About 10 minutes. It shouldn't be far. Split up and search." The 3 of them were at the 3rd level of the Nether Passage realm. After splitting up, their spiritual senses were even stronger than those at the 4th level. Finding one person wasn't a problem. However, at this time, somewhere in Viper Valley, Yixian was still unaware of the approaching danger. No, this couldn't be considered dangerous to him. After all, they were only 3 assassins at the 3rd level of the Nether Passage realm. As long as these 3 assassins stepped into the range of his perception, he would immediately know and then counterattack. The 3 assassins followed the traces left behind by the battle, and heard the sounds of battle. It must be him. Let's go together. The 3 assassins had already worked together on quite a few missions. Even if their opponent was only at the 2nd level of the Nether Passage realm, they would still attack together just in case. However, when they got closer, they realized that it was not a human but a flying sword. What the hell is this? A sword can fly by itself? An assassin couldn't help but ask. The sword they were referring to was Wei Zhentian. At this moment, Wei Zhentian had also noticed them and hurriedly informed Yixian. In another place. What? Little Tian, you saw 3 assassins? Yixian raised an eyebrow. Assassins coming to Viper Valley? He immediately realized what was going on. Did the Blackwater Lightning Flood Dragon clan invite assassins from the underworld? Yixian's eyes flashed, and a murderous intent rose in his heart. There was a 99% chance that these 3 assassins were coming for him. If that's the case, then I won't hold back. After licking his lips, Yixian madly dashed in Wei Zhentian's direction. He estimated that the assassins who came for him were at least at the 3rd level of the Nether Passage realm. If he killed these 3, he might be able to break through to the 3rd level of the Nether Passage realm. Soon he sensed the 3's auras, but they couldn't sense him. Regardless of what this thing is, it's more important to find the person first. One of the assassins retracted his attention from Wei Zhentian. He felt that Wei Zhentian was harmless and looked at them for 2 seconds. Let's go. The other 2 had the same thought. However, at this moment, whoosh! Wei Zhentian suddenly transformed into a god of war the moment they turned around. He swung the greatsword in his hand, preparing to cut off their heads. Whoosh whoosh! However, the sound of something breaking through the air was exposed. Careful! One of the assassins in black shouted and hurriedly lowered his head. However, not everyone reacted in time. Rip! Wei Zhentian swung the greatsword in his hand, and a head flew up. One of the assassins couldn't react in time and was directly beheaded. Now only 2 of the 3 were left. It was the first time these 3 assassins saw a sword that could transform. However, they were in a hurry to find Yixian, so they couldn't be bothered to tangle with Wei Zhentian. Unexpectedly, they suffered a great loss. Kill him! The assassin in black who just reacted shouted angrily and charged toward Wei Zhentian. However, at this moment, a black shadow suddenly appeared from the side. What? The assassin in black didn't expect someone to be hiding in the surroundings. Then why didn't he sense it with his spiritual sense? In that case, this figure directly crossed the distance of his spiritual sense. What a fast speed! Die! Yixian, who had concealed his aura with the help of the face-changing mask, directly charged over and stabbed the Heavenly Thunder halberd in his hand into the assassin's chest. Sizzle! The assassin in black's chest was penetrated, and the Heavenly Thunder halberd electrocuted his body into charcoal. He died instantly. The Heavenly Thunder halberd was a middle-grade ethereal opening super ability. Even a 4th-grade ethereal opening realm expert could be killed if struck by it, let alone this assassin in black. In the blink of an eye, only one of the 3 assassins was left. Sizzle! When Yixian killed that person, the Heavenly Thunder halberd released a dazzling electric light. Electric snakes flew and entered the last assassin's body, directly paralyzing him. Burning eye! Eye of illusion! Eye of control! This assassin was frightened and had a strong sense of crisis. He even smelled the scent of death, so there were too many flaws in his mind and he was directly controlled by Yixian. Ding! Control successful. The system notified. Out of the 3 assassins, 2 were dead, and 1 was captured alive. This happened in the blink of an eye. This was the result of going against Yixian. Yixian directly took the 3 people's interspatial rings and swallowed the items inside. Unfortunately, it didn't help him break through. Then, he found the mission scroll inside. Capture me and the reward is 30,000 inner demon pills? Yixian's eyes lit up. With so many rewards, he wanted to capture himself and exchange them for himself. He didn't expect that they would be worth so much money. However, the Underworld's mission couldn't specify who issued it. However, he had only provoked one party here, and that was the Blackwater Lightning Jiao family. That middle-aged man had already made a move on him. So this bounty mission must have been issued by the Blackwater Lightning Jiao family. There was no doubt about this. Are there other assassins who accepted this mission? Chapter 1170. We were the first to discover this mission. However, this mission isn't unique. Since we accepted it, others can accept it as well. The black-clothed assassin replied. Yixian wasn't too affected by the fact that he had become a bounty target. Since the Blackwater Thunder Flood Dragon clan wanted to capture him, the moment he returned from the Black Chaotic Corner would be the time for the Blackwater Thunder Flood Dragon clan to be destroyed. However, before that, Yixian still had a lot of things he wanted to ask about. Where are we going to send those missions to capture our siblings after we complete them? Yixian asked again. They're all sent to the Black Chaotic Corner. The black-clothed assassin replied honestly. Black Chaotic Corner. As expected, it was the Black Chaotic Corner. Yixian paused for a moment. Previously, Ling Xiao had said that the Heavenly Thunder Hall had sent people to investigate, said that these missions first appeared in the Black Chaotic Corner. Now, it seemed that the mastermind behind these missions should be in the Black Chaotic Corner. Alright, there's one more thing. Yixian nodded slightly and said, "Is there an assassin called Immersing in the underworld?" Immersing? The black-clothed assassin raised an eyebrow. After thinking carefully for a moment, he shook his head and said, "I've never heard of this name because we don't know each other. At least, I haven't heard of this name before." Hearing this, Yixian helplessly shook his head. How long had it been? And he had already broken through from the manifestation realm to the second level of the Nether Passage realm. Moreover, the higher the realm, the harder it was to advance. Even if this Immersing was a reincarnator, it shouldn't be that fast, right? However, at this time, the black-clothed assassin suddenly remembered something and said, "Recently, there's a blood hangman with a mission completion rate of 100%. However, I've only heard of this name. I don't know if it's the one Master is looking for." What? Yixian was shocked and suddenly had the urge to slap this guy. Blood hangman. Blood hangman, could it be Immersing? Immersing is his real name, while assassins usually use code names. This blood hangman might be Immersing's code name. Thinking of this, Yixian's eyes lit up. He originally thought that he had lost track of Immersing, but now it seemed that was not the case. This blood massacre, which city's underworld branch did he last appear in? Yixian asked again. Just as the assassin in black was about to answer, Yixian's body shook. He could feel someone approaching him at an extremely fast speed. This aura, if it were a normal person, Yixian would not have bothered, but this aura was very familiar to him. "Brat, I know you found me. How have you been?" Yixian heard a familiar voice. Immersing. Yixian could not help but exclaim, "Speak of the devil and he will appear." He didn't expect that Immersing would see the mission that the Blackwater Lightning Flood Dragon had issued and learn of his whereabouts. "That's right, it's me." A black shadow slowly walked out of the forest, almost blending into the darkness. Even the assassin in black beside Yixian felt terrified by this method of concealment. If not for Yixian's perceptive eye and insightful eye, he definitely would not have discovered this black shadow. This was the strength and terror of the reincarnator Immersing. Second level of the Nether Passage realm, the same as me. Yixian's expression changed. He had a bad feeling about this. Back then, he had suppressed Immersing's realm, and Immersing had also fought with the Thunder Light City's city lord and consumed a lot of energy. Today, he and Immersing were at the same realm, and Immersing was coming for him. Therefore, this battle would not be easy. "I didn't expect you to break through to the second level of the Nether Passage realm in such a short time. Your talent is already at the top in this area." Immersing had no intention of making a move. He slowly said, "I am a reincarnator. Even with thousands of years of memories, I am only at the second level of the Nether Passage realm. You are worthy of my attention." In his previous life, he had seen geniuses who were 100, 1,000, or even 10,000 times more talented than Yixian. However, one should not forget that there was a difference in the area. For a reincarnator like Immersing, the land he was standing on was extremely barren. In his previous life, the yuan-chi of heaven and earth was countless times denser than here. Even if he went to a restaurant to eat, he could easily create a Nirvana realm expert. It was to the extent that the women in this kind of place were all in the immortal realm. "Be valued by you? Should I thank you?" Yixian did not feel any glory. Instead, he felt like he was being targeted by a wolf. "I, Immersing, have reincarnated. It is your honor to meet me. Although I don't want to kill you as it would be less fun, I will do my best." After Immersing finished speaking, he raised his hand and said, "Last time we fought, I was unable to kill you and had to run away. Today, I only want you to take one of my moves. If you can survive, I will let you go." What a big tone, Yixian said in dissatisfaction. At the very least, he was at the same realm as Immersing, and he could challenge those above him. Now, Immersing actually said that he would only attack once. This was simply underestimating him. He had the Eye of Eternity. As long as both eyes were not destroyed at the same time, he could use the Tree of Life bloodline to recover. However, Immersing had tried all kinds of methods to kill Yixian, but to no avail. Therefore, He knew that he had to turn Yixian into ashes. Are you ready? Emo Shui's true qi surged. His aura became extremely dangerous. Even Wei Zhentian could not help but tremble. The black-clothed assassin was so scared that he retreated. Young master, I am here. At this moment Luo Luo also sensed it. She immediately used the Eye of Charm to strengthen Yixian's soul. This little girl is troublesome. However, take this move of mine first. Emo Shui suddenly attacked. With a wave of his hand, a flame dragon condensed from true qi and 10,000 mammoth force flew out and swept towards Yixian. Yixian opened his eyes wide. He had been using the Eye of Revelation to observe Emo Shui, but he was unable to copy this martial art. Therefore, this move was not ordinary at all. Wei Zhentian. Yixian hurriedly turned Wei Zhentian into a hard shield. At the same time, he put on the brilliant golden armor and used the rolling thunder armor. Not only that, but the rolling thunder pearl also turned into a thunder dragon. It opened its bloody mouth and spat out a huge pillar of lightning. Thunder dragon roar. Unparalleled flame dragon slash. Rumble. Chapter 1171. The 10,000 mammoth force was all-encompassing. After fusing with true qi it could form lightning, fire and so on. Lightning and fire were two very domineering attributes, but the reason why Emo Shui was so confident was because this was his favorite technique in the past. Later on, he continuously improved this move until it became a reincarnation ability. It was called the Unparalleled Flaming Dragon Slash. It had once burned an ocean dry. Although he was not using the Unparalleled Flaming Dragon Slash and was only using the original ability, even a 5th-tier ethereal opening expert would probably die under this move. Even with the support of Lola's Eye of Charm, the Thunder Dragon Roar could not block this attack. However, the moment the Thunder Pearl was about to be destroyed, another burst of energy erupted. Heavenly Lightning Annihilation. Boom! A wave of qi that had never been seen before swept out, shaking the flame dragon. However, this power was not enough to destroy the flame dragon. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Crack! The Thunder Pearl was swallowed by the flaming dragon and shattered into powder. The flaming dragon swept forward, swallowing Yixian. This scorching aura instantly burned Wei Zhentian into ashes and easily destroyed Yixian's thunder armor. Even the brilliant golden armor melted. Fortunately, this flaming dragon was weakened by the Thunder Dragon Roar and Heavenly Lightning Annihilation. In addition, Wei Zhentian was a 3rd-tier ethereal opening expert and was extremely tough. Yixian survived, but he lost more than 10 years of his life. Just now, in order to block the flaming dragon's attack, he used true qi, the 10,000 mammoth force, and the supreme grade immortal spring water to form a protective barrier. The unparalleled flaming dragon slash was fierce and domineering, but it was countered by water. Yixian thought of this method in the nick of time, and thus survived. You actually blocked it. A voice rang out. Yixian looked forward and saw Emo Shui looking at him in shock. Emo Shui did not expect that his strongest attack would not be able to kill Yixian. He did not expect Yixian to have the supreme grade immortal spring water. This was a fatal temptation to martial artists below the immortality realm. You want to kill me with your abilities? Yixian's burned wounds began to warm up, and the brilliant golden armor, as well as Wei Zhentian and Thunder Pearl were treasures revived. I told you if you can withstand this attack, it is your ability. You can leave now, Emo Shui said with a righteous look. Is that so? The corners of Yixian's mouth slightly curled up as he said, Don't think that I don't know. That move just now almost exhausted all of your true qi. Can you still fight me next? The Eye of Insight could see through everything. Indeed, after using the Flame Dragon Peerless Slash, Emo Shui had only 1/5 of his Zhan Qi left. This was a good opportunity for Yixian to make his move. After hearing Yixian's words, the expression of Emo Shui, who was pretending to be calm, changed. In an instant, he turned into a ray of light and flew away. Brat, the next time we meet, it will be your death. Hearing this, Yixian cursed in his heart. F***C, this move again. Emo Shui was so hard to deal with. He ran away immediately after his attack failed. Who knew how long it would take to kill him and complete his revenge mission? Emo Shui knew that Yixian had the eyes of the void, so he ran towards the depths of Viper Valley. Yixian hurriedly chased after him. He knew that Emo Shui's escape technique was flawed. However, the speed of this escape technique was simply off the charts. Yixian was one realm higher than Emoshui. Now, he was only at the same level as Emoshui. It was impossible for him to catch up. This Emoshui must have successfully refined the jade blood gold pellet. He is also a reincarnator. If I don't kill him, there will be endless trouble in the future. Yixian thought to himself. What was the most terrifying enemy? It was those hidden enemies that you could not find. Emoshui was a veteran assassin who had lived for thousands of years. It was not fun to be targeted by him. Yixian knew that Emoshui was using him as a stepping stone. Only by failing again and again would he be able to increase his realm quickly. No matter what, this was a waste of effort. Not only did he use up 2 of the Thunder Pearl's abilities, but he also used up a dozen years' worth of immortal spring water. What a loss! The revenge mission has no time limit. It's not that easy to complete. It's really hard to get 3 devouring points. The next time we meet, I'll teach you a lesson. Yixian unwillingly said in his heart. Just now, he did not have time to use 10,000 returning to origin to defend or suppress Emoshui. Emoshui's blood escape was too fast and could not be trapped. He was also worried that Emoshui would come back after he recovered, so he had to keep a trump card. However, the best trump card was his realm. I have to break through quickly. Every time Emoshui appears, his realm can keep up with mine. If I fall behind too much, I'll be dead. Yixian did not care about anything else and continued to hunt heaven-reaching beasts. After that battle, Emoshui did not appear again. An hour was not enough for him to recover. An hour later. Ding! Host has broken through. Current realm is level 3 Nether Passage realm. The system notification sounded. Immediately, Yixian's aura skyrocketed. Even if I break through, I don't have the confidence to deal with Emoshui. When he recovers, I won't be able to block that move without a trump card. I have to retreat. With a thought, Yixian immediately left Viper Valley. Just now, he had used many trump cards. Lualua's Eye of Charm, Thunder Dragon Roar, Sky Thunder Annihilation, and the Immortal Spring Water. If Emoshui came again, he would have to break through the void and leave immediately. After that, he did not dare to travel on land and could only fly in the air. It was unknown whether Emoshui had turned back, or because he had lost track of Yixian. In any case, Yixian did not encounter Emoshui again. 2 days later, Yixian successfully arrived at Black Chaos Corner. Black Chaos Corner was a place where crooks mixed in with the honest folk. Among them, there were 3 top gangs. The first was the Mad Dragon Gang, the second was the Phantom Gang, and the third was the Righteous Yang Gang. The rest of the gangs belonged to these 3 gangs.